All right. Well, we're live with some technical difficulties, which is why you can't see me at all. But we have two people with cameras on, and that's really all we need. So I'm the white dot. This is my channel, Drew at Nordell MRRC. And every other video you've seen me, so I guess one without me's fine. Right below me, we have Clint, who I don't know if you watched this last week. Most people, I don't know if they watch the videos on my channel a second time. But how are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. Thank you for having me back. I'm surprised you did. I don't know why you brought me back here. It's gonna be horrible.
Well, well, I brought you back the second time, and now my camera doesn't work, so I don't really know what's happening. Moving to his right, we have Sam, who was going to be here last week, but you know, things happen.
Wow,
Sorry,
Sam.
here. You know what?
Trash.
Wow. Above him, who we also have from last week, it is Cameron, whose name I spelled wrong in the intro, and then part of the reason my camera's not working is because my computer's lagging so much from using Final Cut 30 seconds before I hopped on here. But how are you?
Oh, somehow you managed to blame me for that.
Oh. Well, you can be
I don't know
Cameron
why you
Hall for the
invited me
rest of
back
your
on.
life, so I mean, I don't know.
I've been called Paul. I've been called all sorts of things.
Cameron Paul.
Cameron Paul.
Yeah. Unironically.
You're
That's
part of the
low-key,
Paul
that's low-key
brothers?
lit. Everybody workshop that and call him Cameron Paul from this moment forward. No, I'm just joking.
I don't care.
Okay, moving over to his left. You didn't want us to use your real name. I forget what name you wanted to use, but then I remembered I put your name in the description, so I'm going to change that right now.
This is the greatest podcast.
So could
ever.
you introduce yourself to us, because you have a presence on YouTube? It was plugged. It is in the description.
I'll go
So
there right now.
Hello, call me Enzi. I run the questionably small, poorly run, the Mighty Mikado YouTube channel. I was supposed to be here last week and other things got in the way, so I figured I'd sit it out and watch. I'm here this week. Now you get to deal with my shenanigans.
good. Aaron Adams from Northwest Railfan was going to be with us, and then he realized he had to go to his church. So here we are. There's 6 of us. Yeah, boo, church. So
Come
I
on.
was gonna ask where the sixth person was.
oh my god.
Trains are
Oh,
fun
it does
words,
still
but
say
come
6
on
people
now.
in the description. So I guess, we had to remind everybody here what our topic was about 6 minutes before we got on, and that's not counting our lateness. So yeah, here we go. We have Humanity Junction in the chat. Hey Heath. We have Randall Ellison, Andrew Collins, Nate Lichtenstein. I'm sorry, I probably got that
Lichtenstein.
really wrong. Well, we're gonna
Wow, the
start
chat's
here.
already
Just
popping.
yeah, I know we have 7 concurrent
Wow.
viewers, which is
Wow.
4 minutes in.
pretty peak for this
You're
channel.
You're famous.
So,
is
wow,
wild.
yeah.
Look at us. We're
Half of them
incredible.
are
They all
probably
know about
famous.
us. Hooray.
We're in the
So-
spotlight.
Just like last week, how we started this pretty awkwardly. We're gonna start. So we need to set some boundaries, because what's going to happen in this conversation is we're going to say, oh,
Clint.
we're talking about steam locomotives. Clint's going to say,
I'm
oh,
just
I
kidding,
think we
man.
should talk about Dapple from the UK. I saw they made a tank engine one time. It was pretty cool.
That does not sound like anything I would ever do. First of all,
I mean, on that note, I was gonna throw my hat into the ring and say, well, Kato made some nice Japanese locomotives.
oh god, see,
You and Kato, I don't even know.
see, Drew, this is what you do. This is what you do. This is your podcast.
Multimedia
Control
is
it.
here. Hey, John. You
My
probably
God.
didn't regret
Roll us.
coming, but I appreciate it. There's 6 of us, 5 of us. 6 of us would have been awful.
It's just
Yo,
gonna be us
TSG
roasting
Is that
Bachman for an
TSG
hour.
Multimedia, bro?
Yes,
Wow.
TSG.
What?
Here,
Oh my
John
goodness.
has helped me out so much. I appreciate
That's
you coming.
wild.
Yes.
Bro, you're
Okay.
big time. That's crazy.
Yeah,
You're
man.
flustered
We are
here.
That guy's
Thank
guys
you,
are big
John.
guys.
I appreciate it.
Legend.
So, yeah, the legend of YouTube.
Where's Daniel John?
Okay.
Oh,
We already
no.
got on topic, and we've been late and on 5 minutes. So,
All right, let's
setting
get started.
boundaries, we need to keep it the American brands, in my opinion. I don't really think we should talk about the big boy that some European manufacturer made in 1990s. So, I mean,
Drew,
You know,
just,
what-
just to point out, if we only stick with American manufacturers, that means we can't talk
Can't
about
talk
Rapido.
about Rapido.
So,
Oh no!
so I'm just saying you can't talk about Rapido for the whole podcast.
Play
bro.
North American. We're gonna say North American, okay?
Oh, now you want to change the rules? Okay,
I changed
okay.
the rules.
All right, Drew.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
Fair
so yeah. So we have Rapido, Athern, Bachman. We're gonna kind of skip over Bachman.
Wow.
Broadway Limited.
Oh, that's
I got a Bachman
mean.
on
Well, we can't talk about Bachman.
But I
Actually,
say
got
that
two
because
Bachmans on my list.
their N scale. I want to talk about HO scale tonight. So they've had really big stuff going on in N scale. I want to talk about some of the later stuff because the later is the more advanced. I feel like Bachman hasn't had any new HO tooling come out. They announced the retooled 6-wheeler switcher, but that hasn't come out yet, so we can't talk about it. So I want to talk about some of the newer stuff because that's some of the more modern stuff. I mean, you guys can talk about Bachman HO, but I just don't think they've had anything new for a while.
I think
What
they switched
about-
to diecast though?
What? And not just that, but what about? Don't they have a Hudson in HO as well?
That was
as,
an N scale, though.
Was that only an N?
Yeah, if it was in
the
HO
UP
scale, I would have definitely
Niagara
talked
is
about
the
it, but I'm
best
saying.
steam locomotive in any scale.
Yes.
Just gonna put
Yeah.
that out there.
UP
What did you make
Niagara.
Get out.
The one at the
already
overland set.
Oh my God. The one that pulled the daylight. You know that one? That's the one. God. All right, Drew. Sorry.
Wow.
Back to
Okay.
your list.
So I
sorry.
just said we skip Bachman because they haven't had anything new in a while. I wasn't saying anything bad about Bachman. I have a whole bunch of Bachman stuff. So
Oh,
just
I
for
can
the
say some bad
record,
things
for
about
the
Bachman.
record.
We know what you meant. It's fine. Bachman either.
I could
gonna
say
have
some
this-
bad
See,
things about
I
Bachman.
just got a
My
Bachman
climax
model.
is broken still.
Yeah, and we saw how well that turned out, Sam.
Hey,
Oh,
don't,
Did you get a-
don't hate on my little 460 here. All right.
It's all right, man. It's all
There
right.
you
You
go.
know.
There you go.
I just realized
There you
that Bachman is
There it
literally
is.
half of all of my HO stuff.
Me too. Honestly, sitting here,
2
I
out
can't
of
think
4.
of how many different variations of the 060 I have, all made by Bachman.
I just have the
Huh.
one. The,
Oh,
yeah, I just have the one too.
UP Greyhound one.
Okay.
And then I have.
Anyway.
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 Rapido is acceptable. I would like to establish that. Broadway Limited, Scaletrains,
Mhm.
but I guess they
They
haven't
don't
really-
have any
Say,
steam
we
yet.
don't have any
Well, they had the
models yet.
MTH stuff. I mean, I don't know how you want to. Do we want to talk about that being MTH or Scaletrains?
We can just roll them in
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
together.
okay,
Just want
okay.
to talk about the transition.
We probably
of-
should have had
of
this
the-
talk beforehand. but I
Scale
mean-
Trains doesn't
Probably
have any
five.
steam right now, so it's the same thing,
They
really.
still make the best steam on the market though.
Yeah, that's the crazy part is you're probably right. They don't
Yeah.
even have a steam engine yet, and this is going to be the best one out of everybody's on the
Probably,
market,
yeah.
hands down.
Watch. It's just going to be like a Bachman starter engine.
No.
Cam,
No,
Why?
They're
separately
just going
applied
to do it.
parts.
don't you disrespect skill
You-
trains like that?
No, what
Wow.
I'm saying is you jinxed it. You said that it's going to be the best. Now it's just got to
No,
be like
You can't jinx scale trains. Scale trains is above being jinxed, sir. They're legends in this hobby, and they're only a few years
You
old.
might be right.
Dude, MTH tooling with lock sound or loke sound. It's pronounced loke sound.
Loke
My
sound,
bad.
lock
You
sound.
went-
I say lock sound.
Clint,
so I mean,
I caught you slipping on that a couple streams ago.
I'm allowed to
but-
slip on it.
I didn't bring it up.
But it's like MTH tooling with loke sound. There, I don't think there can be something that can beat that.
Wait,
Unless
time out real
Broadway
quick.
does
Cam,
something great.
do you know why I can slip up on that? Because I have the Intermountain cab forward, sir. That's why.
Oh, there he goes again.
I gotta go, guys.
We just started.
And we brought that back full circle. Sorry, chat. All right.
wow, huh? We're still
We
at
have
peak
resolved
viewership,
it.
so I don't care. It seems like we get more people when we're just talking about random stuff than when we're actually trying to have a
You
conversation.
gotta start it off lighthearted, man. You know, just
Gotta
get everybody
start
warm and
somewhere.
comfortable. You know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I'm
well,
standing
we're too
up,
serious
so I
about
mean,
this.
I'm
We're just gonna
cold.
offend people.
we're very serious. We take
we've,
this.
we've already
We're
done
We
gonna
take
that.
this very seriously, and everybody watching
All the
needs to
Athens people
understand
just
that.
sitting in there just fuming. They haven't even heard Athens' name once.
Oh my
said it
God,
one
we
time.
didn't bring up Athern, did we?
Hey, I
don't
said it after Broadway Limited and before Bachman. So it
Did
was
you?
mentioned.
You know what's
Yes.
crazy? I don't. When you mention Steam and HO, I don't even think Athern, and that's
Me neither. They had the
That's-
early challengers, and that was kind of they were good, but they weren't. They kind of blended in.
Broadway also confirmed an early challenger. We don't know if we're gonna get that or not.
Yeah, that'll never. Yeah, that'll.
Yeah.
It's kind of like their Hudson that they're so-called making.
No, the Dreyfus
Commodore?
the Commodore Vanderbilt. I mean, yeah, dude. I've been waiting for that for like 5 years. Really, I really want that engine. Like, they just need to make it already.
You never know,
for
though.
my
Like
S3 for like 3 years, and
they're re-releasing those, and I'm super hyped. You're talking about the Milwaukee run, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I bought the first run, and it's just
there have been so many S3s, dude. I'm sitting here like, is he talking Pensy? Is he talking like
the Milwaukee
Nickel Plate Road? Is he talking Milwaukee? Is he talking Great Northern? What S are we talking here?
The Milwaukee one. I love the thing to death because it's like the first engine I pre-ordered because it's like I want that thing right now, but also it's so broken.
What's wrong with it?
It's just one problem. I think it's just because it's the first run and it's like really new. It's just like there's so many things. Like it wouldn't run right for like 6 months, and like viewers of my channel long ago who probably aren't here, but like viewers of them long ago like would know that it's just like the tender has like wires in it to like power the decoder through the tracks, right? And they both had no solder on them, so I had to take the thing apart and like solder the wires back on. Not that big of a job, but like I still like it took me forever to figure out what was wrong.
Not that big of a job, but you shouldn't really have to do it.
Right. And now it is leaking smoke fluid to the point where it's getting into the electronics. So I have to take it apart every now and again and clean it out. And then plug it back in.
All right, so we're marking Broadway off for King of Steam. Not on that list. Okay, next.
I have like 4
we can't
Broadway
cancel something out this quick.
I'm just joking.
Last time we went category by category, and we weren't even trying to decide a winner of anything. So I mean,
I'm joking.
Man, I have 4 Broadway steam locomotives, and none of them work right.
What was the brand of the thing? I didn't catch that either.
I can confirm. I have 2 Broadway steam. Yes, 2 Broadway steam engines. One of them is the big boy. The whistle works. The regular smoke does not. I don't know why.
I think my Broadway story beats all of yours.
I have a Broadway story. I would like to share my Broadway story.
I'll save mine till the end. One at a time.
So
I can't even put mine on track.
I got a late challenger at a train show, and I put it on the track, and it registered as a short. And then I returned it for another one. I don't even know how they let me do that, but that one registered as a short too. But then I brought it back, and they said you can't return the second one because you're probably going to break more. So I had to send it to Florida, and they sent it back to me. And they have like a list that they give it back to you with, and they said new decoder, new motor, and I'm like, I don't really know what was wrong with the first one, but as long as it works now, and it has. But I mean, I don't know. That was kind of weird for something that has such a high price tag.
BLI Electronics quality.
That's true.
Wow. Now I'm worried about like getting that pilot fixed and testing it out. Is my cab forward just gonna like break when I put it on the tracks?
It's gonna blow up as soon as you make it.
So here's the thing about Broadway, right? And their quality control, because I've had a fair amount of their models that they put out over the last few years. So Paragon 2 was pretty good. I had 2 yes. Yes, Drew, pretty good. I had 2 issues with Broadway during the Paragon 2 days. The first one, and everybody had this problem. The damn smoke units always broke. Like smoke units always go out on the Paragon 2s. The other problem I had was a couple of decoder issues. My Hudson, which I still have, my Paragon 2 Hudson, when I got it out of the box, it didn't want to program. So I had to do some crazy maneuvers in the NCE power cap and eventually got it to work. And I've never reprogrammed it since I got it. And then I had another engine that had like a gear issue when I got it out of the box. But outside of that, Broadway, Paragon 3, every Paragon 3 engine I've ever bought has been nice, solid, and smoke units, like they're more robust now. But yeah, that's kind of Broadway. Broadway typically does a pretty good job. So
TSG mentioned something about a decoder or a locomotive getting a dead-on arrival. I bought an E8B in Santa Fe with a Paragon 2 card. It shorted out the first 6 months I had it. They sent me a replacement Paragon 3 card, dead on arrival. Had to send the thing to them. so it's on its third decoder, and it works good now, except the fact that it squeaks. But that's an easy fix.
This is all why we should really appreciate
DLR electronics are
Rapido.
straight garbage. Damn.
Yes,
TSG,
they are.
Adam,
he's not holding
Shots
back.
fired.
he's
See,
not
okay.
wrong.
You know what? I just remembered
he's
one
not
other
wrong.
problem I
He's
had,
not
which
wrong.
was for my New Haven i4, the brass hybrid. That one I actually did have to replace the decoder on. There was
Ooh.
a chuff problem. So the chuffs were not only were they out of sync, but they were cutting out. So I sent the engine back, and then they sent me a whole new decoder. And now it works fine now, but I don't know how well that's going to hold up in the future. So yeah,
My S2 has a similar problem. Like every once in a while, like it will do one chuff per revolution. Like when it first starts moving, it'll start one chuff per revolution, and it goes out of sync, and I just have to stop it, put it back to 0 and then move it again, and it usually works fine. And then sometimes like the headlight just doesn't work at all. Like if it goes around a corner, the headlight cuts off. Yeah.
I've had actually my M1B.
That sounds like a
I had that
contact
problem
issue.
as well.
Yeah, I think it's just like a loose wire or something.
It is
But-
same thing with the smoke units. I think it's normally with the smoke units it's a simple fix. Like you just have to re-solder the wires or something, but it's just a pain in the butt. Like Broadway, I love Broadway, but their electronics
Broadway's
are kind of bad.
models, the model itself is excellent, but
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah,
electronics are questionable, and the sound, especially in some of the steam locomotives or the older steam locomotives that you might not necessarily be able to go out and record or take pictures of, the sound is usually recycled from something else. For example, I've got a light Mikado in Santa Fe. The number that's on it was not a USRA light Mikado. It was one built by the Santa Fe. But
3160?
it's no
4000?
3141, I think. But that model doesn't exist. But they put the number onto something else that's technically not correct, and that just kind of bothers me a little bit.
That's the
Well,
thing
a lot of people
about
do that.
yeah, most manufacturers do that in plastic. Plastic manufacturers aren't really worried so much about like road number specific details unless you're Scaletrains. That's why Scaletrains is the best, and they have the best steam
Well,
engine.
this particular model also just
But-
the prototype doesn't exist anymore, and I've found
Right.
like 2 pictures online. So yeah, it's not like I can do anything about it.
Could I
Right.
stop for a second?
Santa Fe 30.
No.
How long
Yeah.
have I been on mute?
You were on mute.
Oh my God.
didn't
I thought
even
you were just
notice.
quiet.
How long was I was literally talking? I'm like, why is nobody acknowledging me?
Because Drew.
Probably a minute or two.
We just
Oh
didn't
my
want to.
God.
we just
I
didn't
wonder
wanna
how long
talk
I've
to
been
you.
on mute. Have I talked yet in the stream?
You have. Yeah, you
Yeah,
have.
you were
At
talking
the
earlier.
Well, we've
beginning.
been responding to you.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. Wow. I need to get a new computer.
I think the last time was when you brought up Rapido, and you're like, "That's why we should talk about Rapido." And I think that was the last.
Oh my
That's the last
God.
time I
That
heard
was a
it.
long
I think that
time
was the last
ago.
one.
It was a little bit ago.
Yeah.
That was a good
well,
6-7 minutes ago.
Yeah, I would like to apologize. Oh my
You're
God.
all good,
I need to buy.
You're
I'm
good.
gonna look at computers while we're talking.
I've got a bunch of notebooks.
So hang
I know
on,
the pain.
but okay, Drew, what did you want to bring up about Rapido though?
No, I was just joking. So I was thinking tonight, by the end,
Of course.
we could reach a consensus on who makes the best steam locomotives. Talking about like American steam locomotives, but it seems like we've kind of moved
I would say
on.
right
Well,
now, that's
I-
not gonna happen.
We're still talking about it. We're still like
Well,
talking about
so-
steam engines.
So here's the thing: if you're going to answer that question, that begs another question.
Uh-huh.
What is considered a good steam locomotive? Outside of when we can't use brass as an example, what is a good steam locomotive? What qualities does a good steam locomotive have?
You think it could have
Drew,
come
don't
from
forget to hit
Scaletrains?
mute when you're looking for computers.
I went on John's stream and I was typing, and he's like, "Drew, are you typing?" I'm like, "I'm sorry." That was like a
Andrew
while
Powell in
ago.
the Comments. I haven't seen anything American Flyer and HO for Steam recently. So I mean,
American
yeah,
I didn't even-
Flyer, Steam,
What?
but
So
they
wait,
haven't done
what?
HO trains in a long time.
Dude,
Has
I
American
haven't seen
Flyer ever
Tycho
done
in so
HO?
long?
I've got a
Yeah.
Lionel Daylight from the 70s.
Oh my god, bro!
Lionel
I've seen so
and-
many of those at train shows.
I know.
Those
I got it for like $30 and it broke 3 months later.
You paid too much.
I did pay too much.
You know, Lionel might be
You
a good
paid too much
contender.
for that.
That was one of the topics I had for my podcast, was like what I wanted to see. Don't steal this, Drew. What I want to see
Whoa.
out of Lionel and HO scale.
I'm making
Original
a thumbnail
They don't
right
really do
now.
HO though, do they? They're mostly O still, right?
So here's the thing: they're actually getting into HO because they got all of the old Mantua tooling. So they've got like all those old molds in their library now, and they're coming out with starter sets and a couple of original molds. Like the Polar Express was an original HO mold, and there's a
Yeah,
Mikado
it's
that
terrible.
yeah,
Of course.
yeah,
of course
yeah.
it was an original.
Look, the model itself isn't bad for a
Yes,
Polar
it is.
Express. Why is the model itself bad?
My father's got one. First of all, the main issue I have with it, the pilot trucks do not have enough travel, and I've worked with it and tuned it multiple times. It just won't go around the track.
Mm,
Wow.
Another issue
I didn't
is
see that.
because of their English proprietary Bluetooth system. It
Mhm.
works good using their controller, but when we were running it on a digital DCC system, be it Digitrax or NCE, it just would not perform nearly as good. I don't know what the difference is, but the bit of
Now-
experience I've had with it, it did not. It was not good.
Now here's the thing: is that limited to just your experience, or have other people said the same? I haven't seen anyone else say anything about the model
Mhm.
in
I've
terms
seen-
of those defects.
I've seen 2 others in person. One person complained about that issue. The other guy had it just because it was Polar Express and wanted to display it.
I
Hmm.
think for
Um,
something that
I've
says
seen that
Polar
issue
Express on the
somewhere
side,
online.
that's acceptable.
You make a valid point.
Wait, say it again. What did he just say? What?
He says
I
if it's
just
got Polar
insulted
Express
the
on the
Polar
side,
Express.
that's acceptable.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay,
mean,
well, I think this point's a
it
good
is a
place
book
to
train.
start. John says, "What makes a good model? How about it runs out of the box?" So I think we
That's a
should
good
start.
start.
Yeah,
talking
that-
about
that-
that
quality
doesn't exist from any
control.
manufacturer.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You're inclined from
Broadway models run great out of the box, but like after
Not much
15,
time.
After
20
2
minutes,
minutes.
they start to come
Yeah.
apart.
You know what's crazy? You know how everybody talks bad about MTH and how like their models are just so crap? I have had less problems with MTH models than I
Mhm.
have Broadway models.
Really?
Completely agree.
I'm the
Mhm.
opposite.
Completely agree.
I don't have an AMTH, so I can't speak for that.
I have almost as many MTH models as I do Broadway. Probably Broadway a little more because they're a little less expensive. But typically MTH models for me worked really well. I did have some problems, but not to the degree that like I did with Broadway Limited. Like Broadway, like
Mhm.
Yeah.
you'll get the train right out the box and it won't run. They won't program right. Like
Or it's stuttery and
serious
no
stuff.
movement. Even
mhm.
after
Or
being run, and it'll be stuttery.
the smoke unit breaks after about a month, like stuff
Yes.
like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about it runs longer than 2 minutes out of the box?
Yeah.
Yeah. See,
So-
like my MPH stuff.
MTH subways.
All right.
That's my
who
favorite
bought-
Steam
who
engine.
I
bought
don't
one
even
of
think
those?
they count.
Who bought
This
one of
is a
those?
Steam podcast, sir. I would like you to rephrase that in the form of a Steam sentence.
Oh, I
No.
saw on YouTube a while back. It was a person who they bought a whole bunch of MTH Subway dummy cars, and they had it behind like a Mikado. And I give
Oh,
that video a
that sounds
thumbs down.
Why?
That's savage, actually.
Hmm
That
So,
sounds super
The guy's
cursed, and I
just a
have to
mad
see it.
lad.
So,
Yeah,
so
that's-
unspecific.
Okay, so quality control. We
Mm-hmm.
can talk about Broadway Limited soon.
I
But
feel
so
like we've already
MTH
talked about Broadway
I think that
Limited.
ship has sailed.
Oh my god. So MTH, that I've gotten 2 locomotives from them. Each of them came with some kind of QC issue. The 611 I bought came with a short, and then the ES44 I bought came with the busted front handrails and some kind of decoder issue, but I couldn't really figure out what it was because it was just kind of wonky all the time.
Mhm.
And I don't know. So for me, I've never really had such a positive view of MTH besides, oh, it looks good. But I hear everybody else talk super good about it. So I think I've just had a bad experience, like abnormally.
No, No, you're what I've heard of, most. God, I can't talk today. A lot of people that I knew at my club hated MTH. Like they wouldn't touch MTH.
Oh,
They're like-
that's
be-
me.
And it's because like, oh, there's not NMRA standards and compatible DCC. It's like, dude, if you just read the instructions and take the time to program it, like it works great and it sounds better than most models.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's look here's just my when it comes to quality control. This is how I look at it, right? I understand that with with most manufacturers, especially when you're making steam locomotives, that's why Intermountain, for example, won't make anything else outside of the one steam locomotive they made, which is the cab forward. Steam locomotives typically are going to have issues when you purchase them. It's when you get them out of the box, you just better hope and pray that the damn thing works. Because out of all the models,
The same thing goes for models too.
Models for what?
Same thing goes for models too.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm.
That's also what their models too.
But like what I'm saying is like I understand like people getting upset and talking about okay, quality control, this engine has this problem. It's I guess the thing is when you have a consistent amount of problems, like everyone's having the same problem, like for example Broadway Limited's smoke units, that's something that needs to be addressed. Like there's clearly a quality control issue there. I would argue this though, Broadway has done a fantastic job in Paragon 3 of making sure that their smoke units are up to par. I think that they do a way better job. Like none of my Paragon 3 engines, none of the smoke units go bad on those. So
mine are very faint. Like they're really thin. Like
what do you mean? Like the smoke output?
I have to say the S3 for like a year the year that it ran properly, it smokes like an O scale train. Like it's incredible. Just the S3 will smoke out this whole room. But the problem is that
you didn't really get a fire extinguisher on wheels.
Almost. You know what? It's almost there. But like now that it has the smoke problem where like all the smoke fluid is like seeping all over the boiler and all over the electronics, you have to take it apart every, 20
realistic
minutes.
grease.
And the class A, that I have has the same problem.
I think, let me say this real quick too. When it comes to Broadway, I never purchased any of the early Paragon 3 models. So the ones that were basically models that were transitioning from Paragon 2 to Paragon 3, all they did was they just put the new sounds in, or the early run of like the new molds. I never purchased any of those. So I think.
Are you trying to make me laugh?
No, they do have
a
lot of new sound files.
Class A does not have a new sounds.
You're picking
Class
one
A is
per-
the same.
that you're right, but the thing is you're picking one particular engine, and you're also picking one particular engine that should keep the same sound set because they have the prototypical whistle for that engine.
Right.
That sound set is fine. But Broadway, they definitely upped their game in Paragon 3 with the sound sets. Look at the J class. Look at the Paragon 2J. Look at the Paragon 3J. Paragon 3J, world of difference in the sound.
Oh yeah.
Then I probably have early Paragon 3s, which would not surprise me considering my luck.
So that's the thing. It's like those early Paragon 3s were basically Paragon 2 models, is what it seems like to me. But they just retrofitted it with the new decoders and just kind of pushed them out. Because you got to think about it from a business standpoint. They probably had a bunch of molds that were already casted, and all they did was just put the new decoders, which are built the same way. It's just new sound files on them. New sound files. The Class A and the Y6B did not have new sound files.
They're the same.
In Paragon 3, but they just pumped those same engines out.
But I'm hearing you say this, and all like, excluding all the things that Bachmann doesn't do, Bachmann's quality control is good. Like, I've never had a problem with Bachmann engines not working. Like, there's been a decoder thing here and there, some wire pop out, but not to the extent that Broadway or MTH has. Like, Bachmann's quality control, I mean, of all things, it really is good.
I've never had a problem out of the box.
I have had issues, but all of my stuff is like older than 2008, so I wouldn't know what their current quality control is right now.
Here is what you have to understand about Bachmann, which is different from the other manufacturers that we've been talking about, right? Bachmann's locomotives are simpler. They don't have as many pieces. They don't have the same. They don't have cab lights. They don't have smoke units. They don't have lit marker lights. They don't even have, in most cases, the chuffs synced to the drivers. Yeah. So they're simpler models, and they're also using somebody else's decoder. Which
we have to let them win some category.
Right. Well, but here's the thing, right? So like, I don't want to say that it's not a fair comparison because they have to put in a lot of effort to make sure that they're putting out a quality product, but at the same time, they don't have to jump over the same hoops that the other manufacturers do to have all those extra features because a Broadway Limited or MTH is a higher end product. So,
and some of those Bachmann steam engines look really nice.
They do. They do.
I've got a Climax, a 3-truck Climax, and it's probably my single favorite model, other than the fact that Bachmann's design of drivetrain was bad, and I've spun the motor out. I need to replace the motor, and I don't want to spend the money on putting a new motor in it because the gears are still okay, and I don't know how long the gears are going to last. And if any of you guys have any experience with the Climaxes, you'll know what I'm talking about.
The Bachmann Shays and the Bachmann Climaxes had gearing issues. There was I forgot the site, but there was a website that sold metal gears.
Yeah, they had that.
To replace the plastic ones.
But then the recent run had metal gears, like the last one they did before they canceled it all. I got one, and a lot of the problems that they still talked about with the plastic gears, I experienced. And one of the big ones that I didn't really hear about online, but when I talked to people, I heard it, is the drive shaft for the front just popping off. And I had that, and then it popped off twice, and I couldn't find it the second time. And I couldn't find the part on the Bachmann website, so I just haven't really touched it for 2 years. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but it looks good.
From what I understand, the last run of the Climaxes, the trucks, the gears and the differentials in the trucks were metal, but I don't know if the internals were metal or if they remained plastic. And there's this cone-shaped gear in the middle, from what I understand. That's the main problem one that is difficult to get replacements for. I don't know where it is. I haven't been able to take it apart far enough to get to it. But as soon as I can, you bet I'm going to have that thing replaced with metal.
Right.
Because it really is a beautiful model. It sounded decent. It ran good. And then it didn't.
Yeah.
And I want
Here's
it back.
another conversation point for Bachmann, the Decapod. It looked really good. It sounded great. But the one thing about that was there was some quality control stuff that did happen, specifically with the headlight.
Funny story about the Decapod. My first, I always, on my channel, I always say that my first DCC and sound locomotive, steam locomotive was the Daylight, right? Technically, it wasn't. The first one I ever had was the Bachmann Decapod. And I opened it up Christmas Day, and the issue that I had with it was that it wouldn't move. Like there was something, I don't know. And at the time I wasn't opening up steam locomotives to work on them. I didn't know how to do all that. And so it was just like it was trying to move, but it was like something was binding and it just wouldn't go forward. But the Deca, I mean, it looks great. It looks like a great model. I would love to own one. But like you said, there were some QC issues with those early Decapods. I think the newer ones now, though,
I was talking about the new run of Decapods, the latest one they just did with, I think it was a TCS decoder.
TCS.
And what happened was the headlight, since they were removable, and they had 2 different types. The one thing that people were saying was the light shine through the entire perimeter of the front part. So I don't know how true that is because I haven't touched it, but it's something I've definitely heard more than 5 times.
Well, I have an old Decapod with like 1st gen Tsunami sound, and it was the Erie Decapod. That was the first steam engine I got. With sound.
There's somebody in the chat that says after blue box engines weren't good as hammers.
Oh, I was in the other tab of the
that's
chat. I
the
didn't
best
see
thing I've
it.
seen all
I don't
day.
even. I haven't even thought of Athearn one
Human
time
City,
during this
are you the one who
conversation.
sold me my
They
blue
work
box?
well as hammers.
Is that why my entire front pilot is shattered?
Well, think about it this way: the Genesis stuff, like the Genesis F7s, are blue box F7s, just with nicer tooling. Like it's the same frame.
So we're talking about same tooling and stuff. Can we address that we're in the middle of like, because you said it was a steam locomotive drought, but I really kind of did some Googling last night. We're kind of in an all tooling drought right now. Like everything, and with Model Railroad News talking to Tony Cook, like he has a really big insight on this. And I'm just, hearing what he says, and I listen closely when he's talking about stuff because he knows what he's talking about. Everything seems to be a rerun from the 90s right now. And I mean,
well,
I don't know.
Maybe for diesels, for steam, it seems like anything that's been produced in the last 5 years is getting reran, and also everybody's coming out with a big boy because 4014 is running.
Yeah,
exactly. And so one thing, they wrote the big boy on the front of the engine. I always wondered, do you think the person who did that just wanted to see it on a model?
No.
That was the original story. That was the original story of how the big boy got its name.
Oh, actually,
yeah.
You
didn't know that? The Wasatch.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the Wasatch class.
Something like that.
I still call them Wasatches sometimes. Just for fun.
Stop. No.
Okay,
don't call them
they're
that.
not actually called Wasatches, okay?
But it's fun to say, especially when you're looking at the videos of 4014 going through Ogden and stuff.
Oh boy, look at that good Wasatch right there. I love the Wasatch. It doesn't,
guys.
Bro,
the one guy that just gets smacked by the person next to him.
But think about it. The Wasatch coming to a town near you.
I can't.
Yeah.
Did
Athearn even make the excursion one? Dude. Oh wait, they did, didn't they? Yeah, Athearn made the excursion. Oh well.
The one that's all shiny.
Oh wait, yeah. I don't have the money for that right now. So.
Listen, as someone who's like the big boy is like one of my favorite engines of all time. Like I was obsessed over that engine. I am so tired of big boys. Please stop making them. like
100%. Everything you just said, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Every time I see a manufacturer like, oh, we're producing a big boy, I just roll my eyes.
I'm just like,
yeah, it's like I'm not going to buy anything from you for 2 years.
It's like the 4884. It's coming. It's like we don't care anymore.
Yeah.
It's like,
but we need an 844. Like we don't have it. We haven't had a good one of those in a while.
I've got something to add to the 844. Broadway Limited is making one.
Oh my God! Where'd you hear that?
I emailed them when I went to go send in my Hudson. I emailed them. It's like, you're making an 844, aren't you? Like you're making an FEF, and he was like, yeah, we're working on it right now, and we're gonna release it to the public in the summer.
Oh my God!
Another FEF.
Wow!
I'm so
look at Sam just breaking out the exclusive news here.
Wow!
I have email confirmation to prove it.
Wow!
But see, here's the thing.
Wait for another 844. I'm not gonna buy.
I feel like it's always circles back. The conversation always circles back to Broadway, but this is what I have to say. Okay, I would be really excited for an 844 from Broadway if they weren't just gonna put the same sound files that they already have in like the big boy and the Challenger in it.
I hope they don't. They might. It's like a complete possibility.
I really hope that they just like put a new sound set, like record the actual whistle and put it on the model. And the bell, like don't do what you did to the big boy. The bell on the big boy and the Challengers are trash. The whistle is subpar. Like
whistle on the new Challenger, I can't.
It sounds like a cow.
It's too low. Like when it comes at the factory defaults, it's just like a vibration.
How do you even screw that up? There is so much good sound footage out there of all of these, of Challengers, of FEFs, of big boys, because they've all been running in at least the last 11 years.
And they choose a synthesized bass sound that can't play on this factory speaker.
I was hoping that they would have just maybe gotten Lionel's sound file, because Lionel, out of all the models I've heard in just model railroading in general, Lionel's sounds the best. They have the best sounding big boy. But I just don't know what Broadway. I don't know. It seems like Broadway's sound files, they have to stick to a particular pattern in order for them to work. Like if like the way like every whistle, if you have like a bunch of their engines, right? All the whistles are different, but the whistles play the same, if that makes sense. Like they have the same kind of similar cadence and rhythm to how they play out. And that's kind of like the same issue I had with Tsunami. The other day I was thinking like, man, who has better sound between Tsunami and Broadway? Because I feel like they are the two at the bottom. In terms of sound, in my opinion.
Kinda,
but
the race.
I wouldn't really
sound better
agree
than others.
completely. I think Tsunami 2's made some really big strides.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think Tsunami 2 sound great.
But definitely the earlier stuff compared to today, even though it's still put in models that are produced. I mean, I would much rather have the current stuff.
But
and of course,
MTH also had the same like kind of cadences to them too.
MTH's whistles sound more natural to me.
Yeah,
they do.
Yes, they do.
Like they like the original K4 sound file, right? From like the very early run of K4s sounds nothing like their daylight sound file, right? Like the cadence, the way the whistle plays, none of that sounds the same at all. And their big boy sound file totally like MTH is good at spacing out or making their sound files sound different because they were already doing that in O scale. All they did was take their sound files that they had for years from their library in O scale and just move it down to HO. That's why they had the best sound for the longest time because it was all O scale sound. So
can we talk for a hot second, going back to the big boys, about the Trix big boy that just came back? I don't like they were. I was kind of.
Don't even get me started.
I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to say anything.
Riverossi.
They're the same thing.
I feel like the Trix and the Riverossi big boy were comparable.
The detail
we have on the market now.
Oh my god, dude! For an engine that's so beautifully detailed,
and it's like $800.
Yeah, it's so beautifully detailed. It's so well made, and to put those crap sounds in it, it's just like it's such a
only
crime.
one set of wheels drives, and the pool test isn't the best, and there's not really much lighting stuff going on.
Wait,
only one set of wheels drives on this?
Yes.
So what you're saying is it's a triplex, but not cool.
I don't really know.
That's sad. I didn't know that the second set of drivers didn't.
Yeah, so it doesn't really have a great pool test, and I was expecting some kind of like some lighting functions, but the detail was great. The detail was really good, but I was expecting like a little bit for the price because it was expensive.
Yeah,
and I mean I was expecting some lights and double articulated drive. I don't really know what you call that.
A lot of articulated engines, like European models, like don't have that. Like I saw that with something else too, that like it was like a 2662 or something like that. That was like European, and only one set of drivers was driven. And it's really weird.
It probably had traction tires as well, just to add more insult to injury.
Traction tires on the non-powered set.
Yeah,
I would do that. It just looks like it's strong. That's the kind of thing you take to a train show and only put like 15 cars on it.
Don't worry, guys. We put traction tires on it. It's gonna be fine. We put on all 8 drivers on the non-powered set. They all have traction tires. It's good. It's gonna beat Broadway hands down. Their license B trash. Nah.
This thing's gonna be doing burnout.
You're gonna literally rip the rails off your layout. It's got so much traction. God,
Did you see Rodimus Prime? Well, not his name isn't Rodimus Prime anymore.
But, I know what you're talking about.
Performance Locos. He's doing like a March Madness for pulling power. And
yeah, he is. He is.
That's gonna be cool.
Dude, he makes such good videos, man. He's such a good content creator. God, we gotta get him on here.
I gotta watch more of his stuff.
Yeah, I've been watching him for a long time.
So there's a 6th slot in this thing, in the free version. So if either of you have his messenger and you want to just send him the link, like that would be really funny.
I don't have him on Facebook. Actually, wait a minute. Actually, I might be able to contact him. He does have a Facebook. I might be able to get a hold of him.
Oh my god. Okay, so while you're doing that,
not right now.
Oh, what? Oh, you're not gonna.
Dude, we're podcasting.
Yeah, we're
okay. You don't want him to pull a Drew and just kind of disappear for 10 minutes.
Yeah, let me turn off my camera and mute myself real quick. And
Whoa,
we'll be back.
and not realize it. Just talk like you're having a conversation, but everybody looks like you. Everybody looks at you like you're weird. I can't even talk right. I just tried to say the same thing like 3 times, and it took me 4 times to get it to sound right. Oh my god. It's been a really long week.
Bro. It's all good, bro. Everybody's tired today. That's why we're being goofy as hell.
This is why everything I do is pre-recorded.
I had 2 tests today, dude. I am fried.
Oh my god.
Oh man, your life's so hard. Tests. I remember those days.
Wow. I learned nothing in AP World History. An AP World Seminar. I don't even know what that class is about because I haven't learned anything.
AP, wait, you said AP History?
AP World History, which is better than AP Human Geography, because try to fit like a description on that course, and I guarantee you cannot.
Human Geography.
I took nothing away from that class.
Human Geography. What do you write down there? Humans have gone places.
It's weird. You talk about like religion and stuff. No 2 like chapters relate to each other, and at the end you take a test, and it was COVID, so we took it online. I'm like,
sounds like college all over again.
Oh my god, it was awful. Because you heard about the College Board testing system?
No.
People got like kicked out of their online test, and everybody in the whole world had to take it at the same time. So like there were people in Asia taking the test at 2 a.m. while we were at like a comfortable 5 p.m.
That's rough.
There's like 1 billion people on this one website at like one time, and it just crashes.
Just like my computer did when I was trying to do this.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm lagging because I have like 40 Google tabs open, and I also have Ableton open.
You're fine. I don't know how your computer can handle all that, and I don't even notice. But if I turn my camera on, I guarantee it's not going to work. See, I'm already lagging.
You're already lagging.
Yeah, it's already lagging.
It's just not going to work.
You're 60 FPS over here, dude.
I don't know how. Like, it's literally like I'm torturing the thing. Like I literally have 40 tabs open. I've got Internet Explorer. I've got Ableton Live.
Internet Explorer.
This whole time we've been talking about our bad experiences.
Trains.
We've not lost any viewers.
Hey, 12 pretty amazing.
So so we talked about Broadway and how trash they are, and
wow. That's pretty. You blame me for picking on Broadway Limited, but I think that's pretty bad.
I love Broadway. Is the crazy part about it. No one does Pensy like Broadway does, dude. Like Broadway is so good at Pensy, but like I don't
Broadway
know
everything really else, good, but at the same time also kind of bad.
So could we talk about? So you know what? We're gonna move on from Broadway because it's just getting a little rowdy, you know. So let's talk about Rapido for a little second because I don't know. So
all I know about Rapido is that people in Canada love Rapido.
Well, I do a lot of Rapido stuff. If you've seen my YouTube channel, so let me talk for a hot minute about it. Okay.
Drew's a Rapido apologist.
Here we go.
So the Royal Hudson, from somebody who was a Rapido worshiper, had a couple problems. The eccentric crank would snap, and the coreless motor would they use, I think, wait a second, I'm thinking of another product. But so yeah, the eccentric crank would snap, the decoder would overheat, and there was a magnet to trigger the chuffs, but it was held on by clips, so it got knocked off and kind of got wedged somewhere, and then that made the motor overheat and not work. So the whole thing about that was you could send it back to them and they'd fix it and send it back for free. It was a whole completely free process for you to send your broken thing to them and have them send it back to you, which is a really big cost they were eating. So I think even with all those problems, you can kind of look past it when you consider all the good customer service, because even Broadway makes you pay to send it in. But I mean,
it's not under warranty.
Not necessarily, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's free. You can ask for a shipping label. And they'll send it to you.
I didn't do that.
They used to have 2-year warranty, and then they got rid of that.
Yeah, they cheated. They dropped it down to a 1-year warranty.
But I have to say, they're so nice. I was getting ready because I had like my 4th Broadway Limited product just broke, and I was like ready to rail them, just like call them up and be like, listen here's what's going on. I've got 4 of your products. They all have different problems. What's going on over there? I was livid.
Oh my God.
All right. I was really, really mad.
Wow.
And then I called him and she was like, how can I help you? And I was like,
I'm so
really
sorry.
nice.
I was about to be all
She's
mad,
like,
but you're so nice.
They're so nice. Like they're
Exactly.
so nice. She's
The
like,
lady who opens the phone calls recognized me from 3 months later. I'm like, wow.
Don't you just feel special?
I feel so special.
So
let me, Drew. I want to add on to something you said about Rapido. Right?
Oh God.
I think I think what you just highlighted with Rapido in terms of like all the quality issues that they had.
Yeah.
I think it highlights to the point that it is very difficult to make a steam locomotive.
Yeah, and that was the first too.
Especially make something different.
Like the thing that everyone has to understand, because when you have a locomotives, when you look at people, God, I can't talk about it. When you look at the locomotives from different manufacturers, everyone you talk to that has a good variety of locomotives has had problems from every manufacturer.
Yeah.
If we're talking about steam specifically, like diesels have problems too. I'm not saying that they don't, but steam locomotives have so many more parts. And not only that, the way in order to get them to work, to look realistic, there's so many internal parts as well, like electronic pieces that you need in order to make it actually work right. Yeah. So just from getting the chuffs, and then if you have chuff and smoke synchronization, that's so hard to do.
Exactly.
So it's let me point this out. That's why Intermountain said we're never doing another steam engine ever again.
Oh really? I didn't know they just said no.
Yeah, no, they're done.
Wow.
They said that a long time ago.
See, Intermountain, the problem they had was the first 2 runs of cab forwards were trash.
Yeah, but they kind of made up for everything. Or I don't know if they made up, but
the third run is when they knocked it out the park. That's when I got mine, right?
Yeah.
But like the first 2 runs, they had so many problems, so many people calling them back saying, "Hey, our stuff isn't working." People they were like, "Well, we're just not gonna do a steam engine ever again because it's just too much effort." That's why I commend Rapido, because Rapido has the balls to be like, okay, this first engine that we did, it had this problem. We're gonna do another steam engine. It's gonna be smaller, but let's see what we can do to improve upon our design. You know, exactly. Like they're trying to run with it. I also think that's why Kato won't touch steam in age.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kato. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but you would have something to say about the pronunciation.
Like they do an N scale, and that's like.
And Kato does have steam locomotives in HO, just not American ones. There's 2 Japanese, a D51, which is a 282, and a C56, which is a 260.
You said at the start you were going to talk about Japanese steam.
Hey, somebody said Kato does not have HO steam. There you go. There's 2 of them.
Okay, here. So before we stray too far away, I want to finish. I want to wrap up the Rapido Royal Hudson because that's their only steam locomotive. But besides the things that went wrong, it was really impressive. I mean, they were the first to do the change in color marker lights in steam locomotive in HO scale. They had the firebox flicker, which at the time was really, really rare in steam locomotives, and it still is. But it was just something unique that we hadn't seen in a long time. And the sound card in it was really, really good. They had a whole bunch of different whistles. All of them were playable. I mean, besides the few problems they had, I think it was one of the best ones that we've had, one of the best models we've had in a while.
On the Hudson, because I have 0 experience with that model, what all was wrong with it?
So the eccentric linkage would snap on. It wasn't on everything, and then the clips. So they had on the flywheel. They had a little magnet and a sensor, and that would trigger the 4 chuffs per revolution, and it was held on by clips instead of like whatever else. And so it would get off in shipping, and that's what would cause a lot of the motor problems. So
fair enough. You did mention those. My bad.
I did almost buy one, and now that you're like talking about these problems, I'm glad I didn't. But I'm also like, I kind of wish I did.
Well, the whole thing of it, you could send it to Rapido, and they'll make sure it works for free. So I mean,
and I could, and I also like I see their new 10-wheeler and it's cool, but it's also like $500. And it's just like for a 10-wheeler though.
But it's really good, trust me. Here, so
for me, that's worth it though. I live
Model
in
Railroad
Pacific
News. It's going to
Branch
be in
line
there.
territory.
I understand that it's great and that it will be great.
If you want to talk about price, let's go back to Broadway.
Oh my God!
No, let's go
Cam, let Sam and Drew finish real quick. Go.
So
go
nobody's
ahead.
talked about brass, which makes me really happy.
I'm trying to stay away from brass.
I appreciate
I'm
your
avoiding
efforts.
it like
I
the
listened to
plague.
your show last night, and that was enough brass for my month.
The only brass I
that
have
was
is all
the-
electric.
That was the point.
I haven't even watched it yet. Like it's so much.
You know.
I gotta like I gotta set aside like a whole evening to like watch the whole thing start to finish and like absorb all the information because I want to get into brass at some point.
Doc, it was only an hour and a half. It wasn't like
Really?
that. I mean, yeah. So,
I watched
Same
part
level.
of it, but I had like a jazz band concert, so I had to like do that.
That's understandable. We can forgive that.
Yeah, I was gonna be there in the chat live, and then I had to go out of town for something, and then I got stood up by the person who was supposed to meet me, so I just ended up sitting in a coffee shop for 2 hours while I could have been watching the stream.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Anyway,
Yeah.
back Drew.
So am I.
Drew,
Back to
reel us back
Rapido.
in, bro. Rapido.
So Rapido, I think the last thing I want to bring up about Rapido's Steam, because there's not really much to say about their Steam because they haven't done much of it, but their QC overall is really good. There's not a whole bunch of problems. There are some, like the drive shaft in the B36-7. There were a very small number of people who had problems. But comparatively with MTH and Broadway Limited, it's nowhere near anything else. So, I mean, I think comparatively with their quality control, it's really good. And then, darn it, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, I think they're unrivaled in all the detail variations they have in their steam locomotives. Because even if you look at Broadway Limited, MTH, they have detail variations, but it's kind of, I don't want to say minimal, but compared to how
mostly like
brass
liveries
is,
and
it's
stuff.
very kind of cookie cutter-ish. But take a look at the concept art for the D10, no two individual versions that they're doing are identical.
And
That's one of the
I
things
do-
I'm really looking forward to when Scaletrains starts doing Steam.
Yeah.
Is
Yes.
not having cookie cutter
Mikados.
models.
But
Mikados,
they're
when
not planning
Scaletrains
on
Especially
make them,
Mikados.
modifying stuff too much.
like I think it would be great if Scaletrains made Mikados for like different road names, so like we could have a legit UP Mikado.
Dude, but then I
man.
have to buy every one of them,
Like a
and then I'm
Yeah, that's the thing.
like, I have to buy the UP, and then I'll have to buy a New York Central, and then I'll have to
You
buy
gotta
a
buy
Santa
Santa
Fe,
Fe.
and it's dude, that's just a
You
lot.
just got the H10 though, didn't you? You
Yeah, I
should
did.
probably be good on New York Central.
You can hear
How am I good on New York Central with?
Yeah, you don't have a Niagara yet, right?
I don't have a Niagara.
Well,
no.
I mean for Mike's specifically, not all New York Central. Obviously, you got to get a Niagara. Do you have a Mohawk?
Yeah, I've got a Mohawk, a Hudson, and
You have
two
multiple Mohawks
Mikados.
though.
No,
Do
Cam,
you
I do
have
not.
all the different kinds of Mohawks?
No, I
I would-
don't have multiple Mohawks.
I would I would buy a
Did somebody just
A
say
Niagara?
brass?
Yes, that's exactly why I left it pinned for a while.
Hang on, I want to hear what Sam was gonna say. Sam, go.
Okay, so I would get like the Broadway Niagara because it looks awesome, and I think I thought it sounded pretty good too.
Sounds decent.
Again, for the price, they're like $400, and it's just like for another 484.
That's
I
why you
just-
should save up for the Rapido Hudson, which is going to come in like
You
a while. But I mean,
I already have a Hudson, and
but
like,
it's not a Rapido Hudson.
God
yeah, but
damn it, Drew.
He makes a good point.
Dude, we don't
Yeah.
have enough money for this.
He's not wrong.
he's not
Uh-huh.
wrong.
He's
Rapido
not
just has
wrong.
something to them. I mean, when people talk about Scaletrains, I feel like they just kind of shadow out Rapido a little bit because
Okay.
they're kind of young. They've been around longer than Scaletrains, but I feel like Scaletrains has tapped into the modern market, which is significantly bigger than the market of kind of middle era stuff that Rapido does. and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like what Rapido's done to make an impact in the market, they're the ones who started to do all this kind of really, really specific detail. They have plates in their passenger cars with tablecloths and plates and silverware and yellow lines around the plates. Like, they're doing all this stuff that is nobody else has done. And I feel like they are very much uncredited in pushing the technology that we have now forward.
Okay, but hang on a second. So a couple things. One, I think you still need to give Scaletrains some credit though, because
no, I'm not saying no credit. Yeah, I'm saying a significant amount of credit goes to them.
I know, and I know you're not, but this is what I want you to keep in mind, or everybody to keep in mind, really, when you're thinking about Scaletrains and Rapido, because those two companies to me seem very similar. Just the way they operate and like the kinds of models they produce, is the level of detail. Like, it seems Scaletrains and Rapido seem to be like the last tier of modeling before you get into brass in terms of quality, right? Yesterday, like I was talking about like a kind of a sales funnel on my live stream for like model railroading. It kind of goes Thomas the Tank Engine, and then you get into Bachmann, and then you'll kind of get into like maybe Broadway or MTH, and then you'll get into brass. Scaletrains is like that last tier right before you get into like hardcore brass models, right?
I want to contest that.
Intermountain is also there.
I want to contest that for just a second, because I feel like I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like there's also a group that goes straight from Bachmann to that lower price range Broadway Limited, and then kind of makes the jump to Rapido and Scaletrains. I feel like there's some people that don't stay in Broadway Limited. Yeah, that was kind of how I am.
That's kind of what I said, isn't it? Like, so you go from Bachmann to.
Well, you're saying you just go from Broadway Limited and MTH to Scaletrains. I feel like I haven't really entered MTH and Broadway Limited too much. I just kind of went from, I got like a Challenger, like I told you, and then I just kind of moved on to Rapido and Scaletrains. Like, I didn't stay in that territory too long.
So what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this, because I'm speaking from a general standpoint, not there are going to be exceptions. You would be one of the exceptions, and I would argue you're still kind of not. But what I'm saying is, generally speaking, if you're looking at it from the standpoint of like marketing, if model railroading as a whole, like you're looking at all scales as a whole, right? As a sales funnel, people get into model trains when they're really young because their parents or granddad or somebody had old Lionel. Then they see Thomas the Tank Engine on TV. Then they'll go to a few train shows, and then they'll get like a bunch of wooden Thomas the Tank Engine toys. Maybe as they get a little older, they'll get some Bachmann lifelike trains, right? Then they'll move over as they get older. They move from that stuff and they get into the really nicer detail stuff. So maybe Spectrum, and then Broadway, MTH. But what I'm saying is, when you start, the further you go down the rabbit hole of model railroading, and remember, contextually, we're speaking HO scale here. But the further you go down the rabbit hole in model railroading, when you start understanding more about trains in general, you start wanting like railroad specific items. And the only companies that really seem to be doing that, like really hardcore, or Rapido and Scaletrains. Yeah, that's why I'm saying they're that last tier before you start going into. Yeah, I guess Athearn does it too,
I would say Athearn's probably up there with
Athearn. Just
their steam line does that. I don't know about the steam, but I know their diesels a lot are like that.
I just got their MT4, and that thing is really, really well detailed. I haven't had a chance to test out how it runs, but from everything I've heard, it probably will run really well too.
But is Athearn up to the same quality as a Scaletrains? I don't think so. Like, they're good.
I agree. No, there's a lot of people who think they are. There's a lot of people who religiously think they are, but I don't.
I don't think so.
Here's the thing. I was looking into the specific detailing of like because Southern Pacific is kind of infamous for every engine is different in like the little details, and I was double checking when I was ordering my MT4, like do the details match what the prototype had, and I think with the exception of one detail and like maybe the air horns, depending on the era of the locomotive, it's pretty much the right kind of drivers. It'll always have the right kind of drivers. It'll always have the right kind of crosshead. the bearing crosshead, liveries and stuff. All the daylight ones are the actual locomotives that had the daylight livery. They're pretty close to brass in terms of like not only class specific details like in the MT4, but also road number specific details.
The Genesis paint is marvelous, at least from what limited experience I have with it.
The paint is also really good.
Here's what I'm getting at, because I was kind of talking about diesels to a certain degree when I was giving these examples, right?
Because the Steam King talking about diesels.
You have to be versatile. You can't just stick to one thing and expect to be able to relate. But anyway, here's my point. The reason why I have to talk about diesels is because Scaletrains and Rapido, for the most part, that's what they do right now.
Scaletrains literally doesn't have Steam.
But what I'm saying is we're using this contextually. We're using this to look at, okay, because of all the crazy stuff that they do with diesels and HO, what might they do for Steam? So my point is this. I understand that Athearn makes some fantastic models. They do, right? And I will admit I'm not as well versed into Athearn as a lot of people are. But what I'm saying is, do they have the same level of detail as Scaletrains or Rapido? You can take the best Athearn Genesis model and put it next to next to a rivet counter model? It's not going to hold up. It's not going to
hold on. Let me do that right now, real quick.
I would say that their new diesels are like knocking on the door of Scaletrains and Rapido. They're not in the room, but they're like knocking on the door saying, "Hey, can I come in?"
Do they have like the ground lights and all that, and all the lighting features that they do? Because Scaletrains
new ones are doing that.
So, because that's the thing, Scaletrains' detail is so specific to even how the lighting functions work for each individual railroad. That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Athearn doesn't do that, because you have to understand, detail is not. It's not just the external details. It's the lights as well, and the sound. I think they all do sound just fine, but the lighting needs to be considered as well. I don't think Athearn puts the same amount of detail in the lights as Scaletrains does. That's what I'm getting at.
I know they're doing ground lights now, but I'm not sure if they're like
doing railroad specific lighting.
I'm not sure if they're doing like, this one has like green class lights and the other one has red. I'm not sure if they're doing that, because like even like the changing of class lights, like Drew said earlier, the class lights are like changing colors on the Royal Hudson. That was like just became a thing in Lionel, like in O scale, like that just became a thing. Maybe not, but like I just like saw recently, like in some of Eric Siegel's videos, that like some of the Lionel stuff now has different class lights, like they're white, green, and red.
Lionel's been doing that for a few years, ever since like Legacy Control came around. Like they've been kind of playing around with that. Like it's easier to do that kind of stuff in O scale because
there's more room.
It's more exactly. There's more room. It's bigger. You can do more. And I think in G scale they've been doing it for years too. I could be wrong.
Last podcast you guys were talking about steam effects in O scale, and it's because it's big.
Yeah. And
I'd
it's
love
like
to see that in HO, but it's going to be difficult.
It is, but the fact that we even get smoking whistles in HO blows my mind. Like that's crazy.
I never thought that was possible until I saw it.
My one thing about the steaming whistles in HO scale is Broadway was the first, I believe, just the first one to be popular. Maybe there was somebody else, but they were the first where everybody's like, "Hey, this is mass producible and it's really cool." But then MTH put it on their big boy. And so then everybody is thinking in their head, okay, at least for the foreseeable future, we're only going to see this in the Challenger and the big boy because they're big, whatever. And then MTH did it successfully in the GS4 and the Berkshire.
And that's what was most impressive.
Yeah,
the Berkshire. Here, I'm going to bring this point up about MTH and their smoking whistles on their basically 3 of their last steam models. The big boy, it was impressive that how the smoking whistle worked on that because it was so much more defined than the Broadway, right? So that was cool. They made a statement with that. The GS4 was also neat, But the thing is, it's kind of like, okay, now that we've seen you can do it with the big boy, you're doing it on another steam engine where the whistle is right next to the smokestack. So it's kind of like, it feels like there's a reason why in the design of the engines, it only seems like you can do it with steam locomotives where the whistle and the smokestack are right next to each other, because maybe they're sharing the unit to some degree, right, in the engineering. But when they did it with an engine that had a whistle that was further back on the boiler, and you still have a separate operating smoke unit for the smokestack, that was what was most impressive. The fact that they were able to engineer that shows that, okay, so cylinder steam, potentially, I think that's going to be the most difficult thing to do, but definitely a dynamo and pop-off valves, we could definitely have that in HO scale.
I think a dynamo is going to be first. A pop-off valve is going to be a close second. I think the last thing we're going to see is cylinder cocks, and I think once we do see them, they're not going to be like puffing. I think they're just going to kind of be a steady stream, or maybe something that blows out from under the sides instead of coming from a tube right there. Like, because realistically, and after it gets going, like 1, 2, 3, you just kind of have a cloud of smoke. So I would be fine if it just kind of like blew out sideways, but I don't know who would want to use that, because then you're getting your rails oily. But I mean, that would lead to oil slip or the wheel slip. So we'd have another feature.
You also run into an issue with space, because you have to somehow fit that behind the pistons, and like
that's far.
That's one of the most complicated and dangerous places to put stuff on the locomotive. That's right behind all
wouldn't
the
trust
running.
Broadway to do it.
Here's the
I would not trust them to do it.
Here's the thing. I think Scaletrains, I think that's one of the things that they're developing. Because Shane was saying in Drew's interview that there's some new technology that they're developing, and he couldn't talk about it. I think that's one of the things. Either some kind of smoke effect that hasn't been done or hasn't fully been utilized in HO yet, right? Maybe they'll perfect the smoking whistle or something like that, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't think we're going to see so much a new smoke feature as get everything down packed. Because realistically, smoke fans as they are loud, and they're not perfectly synchronized. Our smoking whistles, MTH did a better job than Broadway Limited, but it's not perfectly synchronized. I think Scaletrains, what we're going to see in the very beginning is they're going to come out and they're going to be like, this smoking whistle works right. The smoke works right. And the smoke oil, like everybody's is different. So I feel like what we might see from them could be innovative in some way too, but I'm not sure. And again, when we asked, when Shane was in the chat when Drayton was in the chat, and when I asked Shane face to face, neither of them really could answer if they got the patents from MTH. So I would think that would be kind of a no, or maybe they didn't want it because they're developing their own. Because I think if they got it, they would have confirmed. That's my thing.
Just because they don't have MTHs doesn't mean they won't have their own, though.
Right, that's what he's saying.
I think they're trying to get it, and they don't want to promise it in case it doesn't go through. I think they're trying to get it.
That's kind of what I figured. They're probably working on something, and they can't promise something that they don't know is going to come to light or not.
Yeah.
John, you should look at some of Steam King's videos on the MTH stuff if you don't think smoke can look good in HO, because it can.
Yeah, I would definitely disagree with that statement.
It's rare.
I would disagree with that.
It's very rare, but there have been. I've seen it in person, I think, too.
Listen,
smoke is done.
It's not
good.
gonna look. You're not gonna get thick black plumes of smoke, but you don't really need that.
Want that?
Not only do you not want that, you don't need that for the effect to be good, right? So, for example,
asphyxiated while I'm running model trains.
One of the best smoke units that I ever saw in HO scale was the MTH Mikado. That engine has a phenomenal smoke unit. And to this day, like I've had the engine for almost a decade, it holds the test of time. It still works almost as well as it did when I first got it. Broadway, some of the new Paragon 3 smoke units, they look really good. Like the CNO J3, is that what it is?
The T1,
the T1, the 210-4. That the smoke unit in that one, when it gets up to speed, it just shoots out. It just pours out. And they're J class, same thing. It doesn't have to be. Look, you'll never get it to where it's going to be as viscous as a real steam locomotive. But once again, it doesn't need to be that much. How much?
You need the effect, not the reality.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think Broadway Limited's Challenger that I have hands-on, when you get it to work right, it does look good. I mean, Broadway Limited, MTH has always been the best at making their smoke look right, because I feel like Broadway Limited smoke is just kind of too thick, and stringy, like just the way it kind of dissolves into the air. But when it gets really thick, it can go a couple feet into the air, and you really just start breathing in the stuff.
Let me show you
when it works right. It looks good.
Let me show you an example of one of the best smoke units I've ever seen in HO. Period.
Screen share time.
Let me see. Yeah. This video right here. This does it. This right here proves my point. And I believe this is an aftermarket MTH smoke unit. Share screen.
That's why you got a TSG. That's why you got to do JT's Mega Steam. That's.
I see your screen share. Here we go.
You got it? Okay. This model right here, this gentleman, I forget his.
My goodness.
You see what I'm saying? That looks pretty realistic to me. That is HO scale.
Wow. That's HO and not 1-to-1 scale, right?
That looks pretty damn close to how that would look in real life. The only difference is that it's not black smoke. So for some, you can't say that you can't do it in HO scale and make it look right. That looks right. I've seen a lot of
food dye in it,
and that looks great.
A lot of food dye.
So it can be done. It can definitely be done. I'm going to on my screen.
Smoke isn't unprototypical either. It's more uncommon, especially in the days of revenue service. It looks like Lawrence.
That's like here's the thing. Here's the thing. We can
white.
The thing is, I know you're trolling. I know you're trying to be, but like that's deflecting. The whole point is, by that video alone, I just proved no, you can get a smoke unit in HO scale that looks incredibly realistic. Now, if you don't like it because you're afraid of getting cancer or it smells bad, whatever, that's fine. But don't say that it's not worth putting in models, because it is, because it definitely adds to the realism. And it definitely makes it's more convincing. If a person that had never seen a model train before came to your layout and saw that, they might want to get into trains now because they saw that sucker smoking like that. Those features are what get outsiders into the hobby. Those are fantastic features to add to models.
I agree with what you're saying, but I also agree with what John's saying. I mean, you guys know my opinion on Steam. Like, I'm not 100% for it. I only really use it at like open houses because, just like you're saying, Clint, it's just like a knickknack that draws people in. Like, for people, I don't think anybody's like, it does look real. The plume of smoke coming out of the chimney looks real, but I just called it a chimney, didn't I? Whatever. But you don't have cylinder cocks, a dynamo, a pop-off valve, and I feel like until we have that, it's not going to be 100% realistic. But I agree with you, and what we do have right now, that one feature we have looks really good when done right.
Right.
And keep in mind that when a locomotive is moving, like there's not a whole lot of steam coming out of everything else.
Yeah.
Like, to my knowledge, maybe like a little bit out of the dynamo, but other than that, and the whistle when you're blowing the whistle, but like other than that, and like people that don't know the hobby very well, like
that's all they need to see.
Yeah. And personally, when I look at an engine, like when I see something smoking, like not that I don't want a smoking whistle, but when I saw Broadway's, I was just like, I don't want that because I just think it looks gimmicky and it doesn't look right.
Wasn't Broadway just like a little? Wasn't it just like a little it's just like trail of smoke?
It's so bad. It's
really
that was my first exposure to whistle smoke, and I was just like, that is so gimmicky.
It comes. It's very analog, where MTH built in like a delay when the whistle sound comes on, so that the smoke comes out also. But in Broadway Limited, the whistle sound starts like 2 seconds later, the smoke comes out. You let go of the button, and then like you hear the motor going. Like it's not like it's just the flowing of smoke. The motor stays on like after you press the button and after the sound files ended. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and doesn't that first run have like a depleting cold?
Yeah, I have it. I have that. Yeah, it's
real steam locomotives smoking like that aren't being fired properly. Not necessarily. If it's cold and it's firing clean, then it's going to be white smoke.
That's a really specific set of conditions.
Well, if it's an Allegheny on the East Coast, it very well might be a pretty cold day.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's what you're seeing.
It's still specific. You're not going to see that in California.
You still see it to an extent, not that extremely, but you still see it because it's most of what's coming out of the smokestack is steam. It's not actual smoke.
Right.
At least when you're firing cleanly. Yeah, if you're pumping the injectors, of course, it's going to be black. And they used to do that back in the day, back in the 50s. That's why in all the old railroad videos, because they didn't care.
That was back.
They knew those engines were going to be in a deadline in 3 months anyway, so it didn't matter to them. They're just like, run this thing into the ground. But that's why trains today run so much cleaner, because they're thinking about the future, about longevity, as well as like environmental concerns and stuff that didn't exist back then.
Mm-hmm. Well, because back then, when they were actually operating steam locomotives in revenue service, it was all about, like, they just had an infinite pot of money, so they didn't care. But now you see stuff in excursion service, and they don't want anything but clear air coming out of the smokestack.
Yeah,
they don't want to spend excess amounts of money cleaning equipment, repairing locomotives.
Yeah, they're just going to start firing everything on propane. You're just wasting
fuel at that point, too.
Yeah, that's why they switched to oil.
So TSG Multimedia, I see what you're saying, bro, about the smoke. Now you're talking about the way the smoke dissipates. So I feel like we're kind of changing the argument here. But the point is this, right? The general output of the locomotive, the smoke output of the locomotive looks fairly prototypical. And the other God dang it, I lost my train of that. It looks the smoke output from the locomotive looks God dang it.
Maybe we should stream at like 7 a.m. when we're all fresh.
Right? That's not like an 8-hour shift at work.
7 a.m., I'm the opposite of fresh.
At 7 a.m., I'm still gonna
That's what I was going to say. I remember. So, but here's the thing I understand. There's going to be limitations to what you can do in a model train. It's not always going to look like if you expect to get 1-to-1 scale smoke output from a model train, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's never going to happen. There are some things that you'll just never get in model railroading. You have to be realistic. But what I'm saying is this: it looks good enough to where it's convincing, that it adds to the realism, it adds to the illusion of what the train is trying to do. It's not like the way you make it sound. It's like we're back in the days of the 1930s when Lionel is having the smoke pop out of the smokestack, like one chuff every 8 revolutions. We're not in those days anymore.
And it's like smoke pills. Like, we're not doing that. You know,
kids aren't popping those anymore. He has a statement. So here.
You can't make a model steamer look close enough to a real one to make me excited about it. Not everyone has the same standard. Not arguing just as much as say another. It's not. We're not arguing.
Yeah,
we're just having a dialogue back and forth. And I understand and respect your point of view.
For the record, I'm pretty neutral about this. Like, for the record,
I'm kind of somewhat in the middle because, well, for me, I just gotta think to myself, would a steam engine really look like that? Could it possibly look like that? So, like you were saying before, like, that's a very specific set of circumstances for white smoke.
Yeah.
Yes, so but it happens. It's something that,
and that's what the JT. This is all. I feel like what we're all coming back to with Steam is that even though it's not the most prototypical thing, the most important part about it is that it draws people into the hobby, and that's what I feel like. JT Mega Steam. Now it smells like coal, or if somebody is feeling adventurous, it smells like a candy cane, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But that draws people in.
It's like cherries.
I've got the cinnamon one.
Cinnamon flavor.
I put barbecue in my Challenger when that's all I could find at a train show, and it hasn't come out, and it's been like a year, and it's really uncomfortable.
Clint, I got a question for you. Do your trains smell like baby oil?
Oh yeah, I saw that video like years ago, and then I came into your channel again, and that's when I sent you the message to do this, but I didn't even know that was you.
Yeah,
that video went pretty viral.
Yeah, it did. I was actually kind of
surprised
as
far as model train videos can go.
Yeah.
They do smell like baby oil. For me, it's not really that big of a deal because I kind of sometimes I'll mix some of the other smoke fluid bottles that I have lying around, like the coal smoke, I mix it in. So you kind of get the smell of the coal smoke mixed with the baby oil, but it's not like a really strong. Like my trains don't smell like newborn babies. If that,
I helped raise 2 baby brothers, so to me, baby oil just makes me nostalgic. So.
So for you, it's not the nostalgia of the trains going around the track; it's just the smell of baby oil. That's a different kind of nostalgia.
That's an interesting type of nostalgia right there.
Can we not have fart-scented smoke fluid, please?
I think barbecue's close enough because I store my trains in my room, and fresh linen Febreze doesn't do anything. So maybe I should put it in its box, but what can you do now? It's already seeped into the walls.
Yeah.
Just do like I do. Leave it all in your car, packed up for the show that was supposed to happen in 2 weeks, and then COVID happened.
I couldn't. This stuff's gonna expand and contract daily. That's gonna be awful.
It's all Walther's amphitheats. I have to fix them before every show, anyways. I'm not worried.
Back onto actual smoke fluid. I think that the technology is like honestly like prototypical. Like I've got an S2 and a triplex like running on the same railroad, which by the way doesn't have any grass on it and is covered in roadbed and bottles. Okay, so I'm as far from realism as I can probably get. So
what kind of bottles?
Hang on, I have one more video.
Bottles or
I have
just actual these type of bottles.
I don't even use roadbed. Like
that's gonna be my
used
layout
to,
when I set it up.
And then I saw Ken Patterson doesn't do it, so I'm like, I'm just not gonna do it, and it saved me quite a bit of money. So I mean, I just don't use it now.
But
nice choice of drink, by the way.
Oh yeah,
I have one more example of a smoke unit.
I just have water,
and I think
I'm just drinking water right now too.
Do this.
I need seltzer
caffeine.
water, so I have that satisfying sound.
I just have a tall plastic cup of regular tap water.
It doesn't do it.
Oh, you need to shake it.
Oh, okay. Don't do that.
And before he gets it all over his mic and ruins it.
Sam,
yeah.
He just magically cuts out. We know what happened.
Yeah. Shorts out your computer.
Just ruins everything.
Oh,
Just goes right
I'm sorry. I keep forgetting I had to hit a button. I saw this. This is amazing.
I've seen this video.
Is amazing.
This is probably the best smoke unit I've seen in a model train. This looks real.
Yes.
Like this is what I'm talking about. Now keep in mind, this is G scale. This is G scale. But this is probably the best smoke unit I've ever seen in a model ever.
That guy has asthma.
Remember, this is designed to be outside, but he wanted to bring his G-scale trains inside. Not faulting him for it.
When you got
There's oil all over the walls. He couldn't sell his house.
This man is not married.
Definitely not.
There's no way you could be married and be running trains like this in the house.
Exactly.
This man is just
somebody who just tunes into this stream right now. They're like, "What are they talking about?"
I'm like, hey, that's my video from my own. But yeah, this model, this is one of the best looking.
That's amazing.
Almost 10 years old.
Wife comes home. Honey, what are you doing?
Oh my!
I'm running trains.
Hey, I brought home dinner. Why is there a train in the living room? You weren't supposed to be home till later. I thought.
I'm just imagining him running around the house, taking up pieces of rolling stock.
Guys, Adam's in the chat. Yo, Adam, what's up, bro?
Hey,
Adam, get in here.
And I didn't even read the channel name.
Can we get Adam in here?
Oh yeah, I can send him the link.
Adam, you trying to join? I want to get Adam's opinion.
I don't know if you're camera ready, Adam, but I'm doing my microphone only because my Wi-Fi doesn't work. So just do your microphone.
I did not end up asking Adam about saddle takes, but he did bring up.
I can't even get the link. Give me a second.
Listen. Okay, listen. I'm gonna need you to calm down.
Mm-hmm.
He did bring up logging locomotives for like 5 seconds.
5 seconds. I got so excited, and then you guys just changed the subject.
Logging locomotives they're such an important niche, and they get forgotten about so much.
See, that's a great topic to bring up right there in this whole conversation. No one does logging locomotives justice.
Isn't there's like
Except
Fox
brass.
Valley models or Blackstone?
Okay, Adam, I
Blackstone
sent the
models.
link to you in the Facebook Messenger.
Blackstone models are typically narrow gauge engines, though. They're not like
Yeah.
And they're also
Well,
I don't
they're
know
all
anything about
N-gauge,
logging
so-
or narrow gauge, or I don't know anything about that. I just like that's.
I mean,
all
I know they look freaking sweet, like the Western
know.
Maryland Shea. Oh
Yeah,
they're
my
all
god! Don't get me
really
started.
The
For the
thick
record-
Shea, the thick one, just like
Thick.
For the record, narrow gauge and logging
secondhand
locomotives
smoke.
are not mutually exclusive.
Say it
In
again.
fact, often they're mutually complementary.
You said narrow gauge and
Narrow
logging.
gauge and logging, yeah.
yeah.
When I think of Denver and Rio Grande, though, I don't think of logging.
Denver and Rio Grande is one very specific narrow
Right.
gauge, though, in one
Right.
specific state.
But you're
That's
right,
what
though.
it's
Narrow gauge was used a lot for logging railroads because of the
two
tight radius.
just naturally complement each other.
Right,
Yeah.
because you're in a tighter space, so you have less room to work with. So narrow gauge would make sense.
Tighter space and more intense grades too, because often they're going straight up a hill.
Why
too.
they have Shays?
So, but the thing is, though, for the general public, if someone's gonna make a logging locomotive, they're gonna stick to standard gauge, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it would be nice to. I don't know why no one's done a Western Maryland Shea yet.
Honestly,
Like,
I
why is
would
no one
be
done a
on
green
that.
truck
Broadway
Shea?
Limited or Scaletrains. When
Why
they,
did Bachman stop doing Shays? Like nobody's ever answered that question.
Because probably the same reason why Intermountain doesn't do steam altogether, because it was just so difficult.
That's true.
'Cause
Well, and there were all
gear-
the problems, and I
Narrow
get that.
gauge for cost. Yeah, that's a good point.
That is all. Yeah. That is
Yeah.
also-
Narrow gauge is smaller, so therefore
Well, here we
cheaper.
have Adam at breastbasement.com.
What's
There
up,
we go.
guys?
Hey, how are you?
Here?
Get him out of here! Get him out!
What's up, bro?
What's up, guys? How
Hey,
you doing?
we now have 2 white dots in the stream.
Who you
Oh.
calling White Dot?
Oh my god, bro, Adam, yo, what's your opinion on smoke units in HO scale, bro?
I think most of the time they're unrealistic and kind of silly, but they have their merits, and I know people like them.
Fair enough.
What do you think
Right.
about secondhand or smoke and brass?
Secondhand smoke.
No. I started. I was laughing at this.
Personally, I like it going straight
I was
into my
laughing at this. No. What do you think about smoke and brass?
It leaves residue on top of the models. Not only brass, plastic too. It leaves residue, and when it's an HO scale model, that's very easy to pick up. You know.
Right.
That's a good point. I'm surprised we didn't talk about earlier.
How do you guys clean that off? Because I have no way of doing it.
You have to
I
get.
don't-
I'm not a steam
go-
guy, so you're gonna have, or not a like I'm not a smoke unit guy, so you're gonna have to ask these guys.
Something lint free, some kind of lint free rag would be best, because anytime you try to use a paper towel, it just smears,
Oh, yeah.
and then you get leftover paper towel, and it doesn't look good. But try to grab like a lint free rag and just wipe it off. You'll be just fine. Or sometimes just let it dry on the model. It'll just dry eventually. You'll be all right.
Propyl alcohol and Bounty paper towels.
I
The
tried
quicker
using
picker upper.
Oh,
right.
Adam, how did you put an image in your circle?
Adam, I love your choice of locomotive for that profile picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
thank you very much.
I tried.
Is that Rush
for like
Iron?
a good 20 minutes to do that. It was probably while I was muted.
Rush Iron.
So
Seriously, how do you do that? Just 2 seconds.
Click the 3 dots next to your name.
Uh huh.
Click set avatar or change avatar.
Oh, I got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Mine was just a placeholder, but I can't change it without like making an account and whatever, so
Oh.
I didn't bother.
I didn't make it.
so
No,
Let me-
to change it once you already have it set, like to
Oh.
change it to something else, I think you need to make an account.
Interesting.
Yeah, mine
So-
is not here, but
We are so far off topic,
We're-
guys. Just
Yeah,
Who
we're-
We're
makes the
supposed to
best
be
steam
crowning the
locomotive?
king of steam, and yet we've been talking about smoke fluid for about an
all right,
hour.
Walters, end of discussion.
You guys are
Okay.
Something else.
Actually, wait. We didn't bring up Walters. Is
I've been trying to
Or
bring up
Athern.
Walters
we
for a
like
while.
barely brought up Athern, but I don't think
Athens.
really,
No, I'm joking.
Hold on though.
I
The
need to
Athern
work on my
Challenger,
photo.
Clint, you can attest to this. The Athern
Mm.
Challenger is quite good.
It is
Quite
nice.
good.
The Athearn Challenger is a nice model.
Which Athearn?
The early one or the late one?
The late Challenger.
The late one.
The late Challenger is really nice. I have one of those.
I have one as well.
Yeah.
And their FEF is very nice as well. They did a really good job in the FEF.
I have to say, like the Athearn Challenger, just like I have engines that like look better and sound better, but just like nothing just is as I don't know.
It runs smooth.
If it's smooth. I don't know if it's just how smooth it is, but it's just there's something so pure about not getting smoke all over the room and just like running it and just like there's something about it.
I will say this about Athearn steam locomotives. Like I always called my my FEF my Michael Jackson train because they like it's so smooth. Like when it just glides. It glides across the layout. Like that Athearn FEF, such a well done model. I would say the only thing the thing about the Challenger, though, and this is Adam's fault for this, I'm just going to point this out. See, when Adam showed me a picture of the brass, like a few brass models of the Challenger, when I looked at, I can never look at my Athearn one the same way again. I'm like, there's just so much detail. This is not.
Or even the prototype.
Yeah. Like there's a lot that's just like not there, but
yeah.
But I think like the Athearn stuff, you can just run it for hours. Like you can just. Like for whatever reason, I just like can't get bored of it.
I don't think I have a single piece of Athearn anything.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Huh. I'm just hearing everybody talk. I'm trying to think about what I have.
One SD75 in scale, and I have the MT4 I just got.
I used to have a SD45-2, and that was also a very solid model. Like that was a really good model.
A -2 or a T-2?
SD45-2.
I've got
like Santa Fe.
It was a Santa Fe.
Nice.
I've got an SD70 or SD70M. I've got like an old Athearn switcher with an MRC decoder in it still. And the bell,
prehistoric.
I know. It's a prehistoric model, but honestly, the bell is pretty good. Like the bell like still holds up. And I've got like an Athearn Challenger and an Athearn Big Boy. It kind of drives me crazy that they both sound the same, but I just kind of
the new Athearn Big Boy is. I was impressed. I didn't even know that Athearn came out with another run of the Big Boys. Not that I'm surprised they did, but the new Athearn Big Boy that just came out like 4 months ago. That sucker is nice. It sounds really good.
And they've got a lit firebox.
I think it's better than the Broadway, personally.
Oh yeah,
from what I've seen, but
I think the Broadway one will pull better. But because it's die-cast,
the Broadway has really nice lighting features. Like it's like the lighting features are really cool. I'm not sold on the sound though. Like the sound like kind of ruins it for me.
That's one of mine made.
Search Google or type a URL.
With Broadway is the sound, be it diesel or steam.
I just feel like a lot of their models, like especially their plastic ones, they just kind of feel slapped together. Like my Class A is plastic, but it has a die-cast tender, and it makes no sense.
Hang on a second. What? Hold on. No way.
Yeah.
Is that how that?
Yeah.
My Mikado's the same way.
No way. There's no way that it has a wait. Hold on.
He's questioning now. Look at what you've done.
I'm not kidding.
No. Dude, hang on a second. Yo. So yours is different.
Wait a second. I was trying to bring up something else. Never mind.
Sam.
All right, you want me to get mine?
No, hang on. Okay, okay. But wait, you said you got the Paragon 3 version, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I have the Paragon 2 Class A. It's all plastic. Tender and engine are all plastic. So that means for the Paragon 3s, they took the Y6B tender and just slapped it on the back of the Class A's. Because the Y6B is full metal and the Class A is full plastic from Paragon 2. But in Paragon 3, they said, well, we ran out of plastic tenders. I guess you got to throw these metal ones on the back. But yeah, mine's all plastic.
Yeah, my like the tender is it's die cast. It's a chunky boy.
That's wild. That's
okay,
wild.
so here I want to bring up the Trix Big Boy from earlier.
Oh, sweet God.
Okay, because I don't think you believed me when I said
that big boy.
how
It's
interesting
so
it
lazy.
was.
They just completely reused the tender from the Challenger.
Mhm.
I'm talking about the Alco one in Cheyenne right now. I'm not talking about.
Well,
I'm
I'm
talking about
saying
these.
so. I'm trying to pull up the one-wheel drive. That's not the right word. You know what I'm saying? How only one set of drivers works.
The
I'm trying to
front
find the
set being
pull
unpowered
test.
or something.
Hell.
It looks good.
It does. But here's the front view. You know,
I don't know. The finish is kind of, I don't know. It looks a little bit
That
like a
smoke
toy
box
gun.
looks off. Like is it me or do the
Yeah.
smokestacks look a
Too
little
white.
big?
like the
whole
marker
ring
lights. I can't
off.
zoom in, but the marker lights are kind of funky looking.
This is the
It's
same.
just, it's
This is the same
expensive.
way I
It's
get with
really really
MTH.
expensive. For like,
MTH looks really good, but when I'm watching the videos, I get like this. I'm just like that doesn't look quite right.
yeah, I would
especially with the
rather have a
GS4.
Broadway Limited or an MTH Big Boy over this.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
The Fitch is probably the best operating one, but it's not actually the most accurate. People have said for years it's the most accurate. It's close, but the big issue is the wheels aren't the right size.
Yeah.
John
Oh
was
my
saying that
god! I
earlier.
just noticed that.
Yeah.
TSG Multimedia just pointed out the same thing in chat too.
Yep.
Yeah, they're really small.
Those look like
It looks like
It
Mikado
kind of
those look like
it's like the
almost
the old
63
river.
inches.
Wait.
That
Trix
whole
is
model-
Trix is River Rossi, right?
I have a River Rossi.
100% sure, but I think.
We can do a
Okay.
comparison.
How
So,
can I not find the
it
full
reminds
test on
me.
this?
It reminds me of those old River Rossi big boys, like the ones that come in the red boxes, like how the proportions are all weird. That's kind of what this look reminds me of. Just a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Train shows.
Just a lot nicer and about eight times the price. But like,
Oh, so we have our
That's nice.
interior
The
cab
cab
with the
lighting.
big logo on the
nice,
floor.
TSG Multimedia. Be
That's a
cracking me
neat
up.
little.
Hmm.
That's a neat little detail. The logo on the floor.
That's neat.
I don't know if I like it. Like,
That is a
I
neat
don't know.
detail.
I would rather just
That's,
kind of have
that's
like
on
a.
the real thing, though, isn't it?
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get
Whether,
that.
whether
They
you like
did-
it or
I-
not, it's
I-
neat.
I'm pretty sure 844 has that
Oh, okay.
too.
I was.
Why
not
would 844
aware
have
of that.
4014's logo in it?
Haha, you're so.
Sorry.
But like,
Wow.
it's got the shield and the number and stuff.
Oh man.
Then
Sorry,
they
I'm scratching
they
my
took it out of 844 and put it in 4014.
You
when the
see
time
what
was
had
right.
happened was what you're actually looking at is the new is the new Trix FEF.
Oh, so everybody look this and then to this. Yeah. Wow. Thank you, John, for being in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
4014 has the logo on the cab floor.
Watch,
Sir,
it's actually Dan. He's just saved the password after all these years.
Here, Adam gave us something to see in the private chat. Here. Okay.
Gang, gang.
You guys will like this,
Okay.
especially Clint.
I need
Right.
to figure out how to share my screen.
What are we looking at here?
Oh, I can share my entire screen.
Adam, I'm gonna let you share this thing, but I have like something after this that I completely forgot about until just now. That's
Oh,
it.
I can't even here. It just denied my share screen. What it? Oh my god. Here. Okay. Cool. Can you see it? Oh, it's Ron Marsh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
This guy lost me when he started putting ads on my YouTube videos.
How dare he try to make a profit and run a business? God
Adam,
damn
do we
it.
want this sound
I understand
or not?
why he did it, but it's just like
You might want the sound. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
What is this?
interrupting my
Oh my God.
this
Oh
video!
my
This
goodness.
video's lit! I forgot about this.
Trying to make it full
Dude,
screen.
what?
Here we go.
What's 1/32 scale?
I've seen this.
It's
I
it's
forgot
loosely
about
G
this.
scale. It's kind of like gauge 1 and how 00's not exactly like
see
in
what I'm
it's
scale.
pretty close
Look
to
at
O
that.
scale, isn't it?
Look
What?
at that.
You see what I'm saying? Like you can make smoke look real in models,
Wow,
man.
That's
like
amazing.
oh my god, that looks nice.
For the record, that's
I would be happy with just the engine, but then they put smoke in it.
That looks great.
I'm sure that model's like.
So
10
I'm
grand
thinking
or
those are
something.
brass.
Oh, probably.
More than likely. With a custom
That-
fitted smoke.
Can you imagine that on an American articulated?
Oh my
On,
god,
like,
dude.
a big boy?
Put that on like a Allegheny. Oh, dude.
Oh yeah.
Take my money.
Triplex.
take-
Oh,
Give me a model of 1309 with that, and you can
dude.
have my car.
Wow. I'm never going to be able to pay for car insurance in my life.
Oh,
You can have my house. I will live in my boxes. I will live in a house made out of boxes of trains.
Cardboard box. Yeah,
here's my pin
better
number.
than cardboard boxes. It's train boxes. They're kind of plasticky. I bet they can keep the rain out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that'd
yeah.
be great.
It's waterproof.
So here we have our information here. Does it say what smoke they? So it's ESU sound.
Of course it is.
Of course. Well, yeah. Where's the? It's just dynamic smoke. Well, yeah. So we need some dynamic smoke. I guess that's the answer.
It comes down to really like the type of smoke units that are being put in the models. I would have to agree that like a lot of the smoke units on like the older, specifically older Broadways, like they're really weak. Like they don't really hold up and they don't look very realistic. But I think it's getting better. I think it's getting, and it's not a feature that I necessarily need in a model, but I'm not mad when they put it in. So
yeah,
right. I like it. It's not that I can't live without it, but like I'll take it.
It's like now that I have seen that video, I'm going to compare everything to that video.
Yeah.
That's how you should do it. Compare everything to
that.
I've been running Steam without smoke for how long? I think we can go a little bit longer.
So I thought when Broadway put smoke into diesels, I thought that was going to be big, but then it quickly was not.
MTH did it first.
They did
the Alco PAs.
They got to give that another try.
Yeah.
Like Alcos, can you imagine a set of Alcos with that kind of smoke?
MTH
I'd like to see a big blow turbine do a fire start.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Oh yes.
Did you guys see? Let me pull the video up where he took this spray. Yeah. I still want to pull that video up. We've all seen it, but it's
what video?
Fun.
So what you gotta do is
don't tell him what it is. Don't tell him what it is.
Wait, Sparky posted? Oh, what?
So smoke unit in the big blow.
Here, don't tell him what it is. Here,
put lighter fluid in it, and then you have a little.
Just share it with him.
Just share it.
Okay, here. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Just show it to him. Don't.
Oh my god, my screen share! I swear to God, being live is so weird. Oh wait, here, here, just watch this.
What? Okay, Challenger. Oh god.
Oh, Dyer. Okay.
Yeah, we can get that in HO scale.
What is this? It's not even.
Wait, what happened?
I don't know. It's playing
Pixar.
This video is going to get copyright strike.
Damn it, Liberty Mutual every time. God. We get it. You customize car insurance so others don't have to, or whatever. Like we or you pay.
Okay. Everybody, stop this working.
Okay, so what am I waiting for here? Okay, train set on fire.
Just be quiet.
Okay, my bad. Damn. Last of the Giants video.
There's no video audio.
Oh, there's not.
Wait.
You'll see in a second.
Wait a minute. He did not.
Well, it's not inside.
Just wait.
What are we doing?
Be quiet.
Oh God!
It's like the best thing ever. Oh my God.
Oh man, that's so.
Hey, you're laughing now.
This is what I want. I want flamethrowers in every Scaletrains turbine run moving forward.
This should be the next museum quality feature.
Call Elon Musk. Tell him to make a mini flamethrower. Put it in the turbine. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Don't even test him, dude. He would do that.
Yeah.
Yes, he would.
Elon Musk would find a way to do it.
I mean, you're laughing now, but the other side of that model is burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, all the plastic detail is just melted off the side. Those handrails are gone.
That reminds me of that guy.
You can see the decoder in it.
Like if your house burns down and you have a video of you using hairspray and a lighter like right next to a wall. Like how you need to destroy the SIM card because that could be insurance fraud for sure.
Could you imagine?
They're gonna think
explaining
you're
that to your
purposefully
insurance?
trying to burn down your house. Like go in court, into insurance fraud court, which I don't even know if that's a thing. And you try to convince them that you weren't trying to burn down your house by doing that.
Sir, we looked at your Model Railroad channel. We know what you've been doing at home, okay?
You're going to prison for trying to be ultra realistic.
That's why he canceled the Wednesday night live streams.
Now you know why they call him Sparky, guys. Come on, like,
yeah,
it's right there.
That reminds me of that guy who he blew up a bridge on his G-scale railroad and just drove an entire consist off the side of the bridge just for the case of the video.
I saw that.
Oh yeah,
I was like, wow, this is incredibly violent for a
I love how we
G-scale
all
model.
watch like all these train videos. It's
That's how you know we're proper modelers.
yeah.
That's how you know that we're losers and that we're all.
Hey,
The algorithm just appeals to all of us.
It's
like
not
10
my
years
fault.
ago.
That's what the algorithm put in my feed. Okay.
Yeah.
That happens so often, though. Like I
So-
mentioned a video I saw on my Discord, and everybody else is like, "Oh yeah, I saw that."
Yeah.
Like I know that I'm kind of in that like lifetime gonna be doing this because I'm at track practice today and I'm thinking about that turbine and I want to show it on the stream tonight. And I'm like, of all things I could be thinking about right now, I'm just thinking about the YouTube video I want to show on a live stream from 4 years ago.
Dude, if you're not thinking about trains at work, you're working wrong, bro. You know how many times? You know how many times? I remember when I was Sam's age. When I was working at this bowling alley, bro, I wrote a list of every engine that I wanted to buy, and I'm like, and I did because I wanted to do the math
really
on how
long,
much
I'm sure.
it was. I did the math. I wanted to do the math on how much it was going to cost me, and it was like $8,000. I'm like, I'll never get this, and then now I have literally that entire shelf, and it has every engine on that list in it. It's just wild.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, if you're not at work dreaming about trains, bro, it's not.
I remember in like cross country, like in junior high.
Oh my god.
I like just pre-ordered the S3 and MTH like released their Yellowstone, and I'm sitting there like running this 2 miles, being like, "All right, do I get the Yellowstone or get the S3 or do I get both?" I was like, "Which one?"
Both.
Do I get?
The answer is always both.
God. It was cross country states. I came. It was on the bus ride home. I got on Train World and I pre-ordered the Rapido M420.
I'm sorry, I just picture you on your phone. On the bus, Train World, and scroll.
Do I want the orange cab roof or the black cab roof? It's
You're
really
sitting there for
important.
5 minutes, just like, fuck, which one of these am I gonna actually talk today?
You ain't a
By the
model
way,
railroader
school
if you
bus
haven't
with
been
the
shopping
mask
for
on is
steam
really
engines.
stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you haven't gone shopping for models while you're at work,
No, you're not
doing your hobby.
You're not a model
dude.
railroader.
At
If you're hanging out with
school-
friends, at work, at school,
Yeah.
just
At a party.
sitting on the couch having your morning coffee, like
At school, I'm on eBay all the time. Like,
I know.
Dude, oh my God.
Especially
eBay,
like
just-
when they let us into school, like, cause I'm kind of like half. They let us come in Thursday, Friday, and you have this 2-hour period study hall. Everybody has it in the middle of the day. I sit in the back corner of the room so nobody can see what I'm doing. I scroll through.
Oh God, dude.
Model trains on Reddit.
I don't even hide it anymore.
my
Be
God.
careful, they might think you're doing
Everyone.
something else in the back corner of the room by
that's
yourself,
true.
covering your
No, I
screen.
sit up straight.
Okay?
I sit up straight so everybody knows that I'm being behaved.
But hang on, you know what
Especially
I
if you're making the sounds some people make when they're shopping
Just
for
like-
trains, like,
Oh,
you're like, oh, that's good.
Oh my God,
that's
look,
nice.
this in the back of the
Oh, I need that right now.
Just look at the
Look at it.
this in
I
the
need
back
it
of the
right
room,
now.
like, oh my
Yeah.
God, look at that big boy. Those drivers are so big.
Ooh,
Oh my
that's so good.
Oh, that Yellowstone.
You ever see a model that's so nice it makes you like audibly react to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh God. You gotta go.
I saw
never
an
mind.
Allegheny.
It's like model railroaders
I
out
was
of
like, oh,
context.
I need
that
that.
should be a video.
Yes, make it happen.
Hey,
Yes,
you
just
know
a
what?
bunch of
You know what I just realized? That's the difference between y'all and me in terms of like how we looked at trains growing up. So like when I was your guys' age, back in my day, I didn't go and pre-order trains on my phone while I was at work because like you couldn't really do that. Like I didn't have a smartphone that I could scroll on to go get the latest pre-order, right? And like the model railroad companies weren't posting stuff on social media like that. So it's funny listening to you guys. I'm like, I've never done that because like I couldn't do that in high school because that's not how things worked back then. Like it just wasn't.
I've never pre-ordered anything in my entire life.
Pre-orders weren't even as big of a deal back then either.
I've done it twice. I've done it twice.
Actually, no, I pre-ordered one thing.
And then
I pre-ordered Ace Combat 7 on the PS4.
That doesn't count. That does not count.
It's not trains.
Not a train.
Doesn't count.
Not a train.
Yeah.
I don't play video games, period,
But
at
did
all.
you pre-order Train Simulator? Come on.
Don't get Cam started about
Yes, I did because I already owned Train Simulator and it automatically upgrades.
I couldn't believe it's 30 gigabytes. Like, can you put that on a hard drive? Because my computer does not have that kind of room.
You have 30 gigs? 30 gigs?
I am on a MacBook Air with 128 gigabytes of storage. That would be like
MacBook Air from 2003?
From 2017. So it's
how? Get an external hard drive.
Can you install it onto a drive?
It's like $100.
Can you install it onto a drive?
I don't think it's
Yeah,
even
if it
that
has
much anymore.
USB 3, which I think that computer does.
I have
Get it.
108.
This computer is like ancient. It looks good, but that's about it.
Give you.
Yeah, it's got
Mine's
USB
older.
not a hard drive.
In the comment section, somebody said Train Sim is a ripoff. Don't get it. Cam?
The World Tour one, I saw.
Are we talking
I'm
Railworks?
thinking about getting
Because
that one.
yes, it absolutely is. Are we talking Run 8? Sort of. Are we talking trains? No.
Isn't there an open source one?
Open Rails? Yeah,
my
that one's
God.
literally free. It can't be a ripoff. Just
Right,
uninstall
right, right.
it
Yeah,
if you don't
absolutely.
like
Just
it.
like OBS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Open
OBS
Rails.
OBS is good
Like
though.
OBS, you need to spend a long time learning how to do it. This is
Dude,
why I have.
not really.
This is
Not
why I
that
use
hard.
StreamYard. We get set up a couple minutes before. I make an intro and an outro, and then I hit end broadcast. I mean, I don't know. I just haven't taken the time to learn.
It's not that.
OBS
In our spare time, maybe I can show you some stuff because it's really easy to use
Yeah.
OBS. It's
Okay.
kind of
You're doing
intimidating at
OBS
first, but
for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Maybe
Sam,
it's
do
because
you
I had the
use-
original OBS and not Streamlabs, which is why I couldn't
Oh.
figure anything out.
either
So,
way, I use
yeah.
I use Streamlabs for my video game streams, and I use the OG OBS for
Back
the
in my
train.
day, we only had Model Railroader and Model Railroad Craftsman. We didn't have all these fancy sites where you could just buy trains. for clicking on them.
Right?
Hey,
you
now
had
we
to
have
go.
Model Railroad News counts as a modern technology.
You know what's
Yeah.
crazy? I was born at the end of that era, so like
Yeah, I
I
remember
rem-
that. Just browsing through Model Railroader, like, oh, that's nice. That's
Yeah,
nice.
like
yeah.
I remember the days where you
That's
would
how I
get the
learned about graphics.
magazines, like just the magazines in the mail, and your parents would have to go and
The
like hold the
giant
place
catalog.
up and buy, the old catalogs and just buy the stuff for you.
That's
Like,
still,
I used
that's
to
how you have
remember
to use
that.
gift cards from like these catalog places. I had to call in an order from Walters, and I was ordering these different kinds of KD couplers. So it was like, what part do you want? 240-2 quantity 1, 240-3 quantity 1, and I did that for like 5 sequential numbers. And I'm like, can't you just copy and paste this?
You kids today, you don't understand how good you've got it. God damn
I
it!
used to highlight
I
the
do remember that.
ads
It was
in
like-
Model Railroader.
I had
Wait,
the
say it again, Adam?
2010.
Oh my god.
I just said I used to highlight the Train World ads because 15,
Mm.
20 years ago, Train World stuff, well, all train stuff used to be incredibly inexpensive. So I used to
Yeah.
highlight just everything like,
Mhm.
oh, that Bachman's $40, sure. Proto,
What happened to
$40,
model train
sure.
stuff, by the way?
ModelTrainStuff.com?
Like they're still
They're around.
around,
They're
but
still
like,
around.
they're not as big as they used to be.
Don't
Train,
get
Train World's
started
kind of
on
taken their
Model
crown, but
Yeah,
they're still around.
Yeah. I don't know.
Me
They just don't have
ranting
the
on model
inventory they
train
used
stuff?
to.
Mail
don't
or
want-
yeah.
You don't want to
Have
get
you
me started
noticed
on
that nobody has
Uh-huh.
scale train stuff, like except for scale trains?
Well,
Train World doesn't have scale trains.
Oh,
Same
so
with
I
Exactro.
yeah.
one at a time, Joe.
I'm
There's so I
I'm
talked
so
to
used
I
to
talked to
it,
Tony
so.
Cook about this, editor of Model Railroad News. He was saying that there's other companies, I forget what he was saying, like little detail part companies and like a track company. I literally can't remember the name and I should be able to remember it. But
Micro
point is,
engineering.
Yeah. And they tried to go into like retailers, but it didn't quite work out just economically. So it was better for them, more profitable to just sell their products. And I think even having like a major manufacturer sell their stuff like that, there's less because manufacturers demand like Rapido, Jason Schron, he said 30% discount is their dealer discount. And that's a significant price chunk that you're taking off. But Scaletrains has direct control over the process that they discount their prices for their own benefit.
I think that's why Scaletrains is so focused on putting out quality product, because it's just like the only place you can get their product is from them, you know?
Yeah, I was trying to remember Exact Rail.
Exact Rail is also not sold in stores anymore except one. I can't remember which one. Okay.
I think there's a few now, but
it's also
I remember when they went away from selling at stores, there was a big uproar.
Oh, I dropped something.
It also kind of like, it feels like you're dealing with like a retail price though, because that SDL 39 is like $350.
Yeah,
and I get that it's museum quality, but like $350 for a diesel, I think that's one of the first.
But you think about their
to like cross into the $300 category.
They're big Gevos though. Like the rivet counter Gevos are over $300. Like
aren't the Athearn SD45s like $279?
I wouldn't pay
They're
that.
getting there.
I would not pay that.
Their SD80 Max are getting to be like $288, $290.
I think their newest engine is like $320 or something.
Like the price of trains is going up gradually. It seems like.
Oh yeah,
that's with everything.
My Paragon 2 Hudson was $230.
I think I spent roughly $300 for one of my Rapido F40s, the Kool-Aid one.
Oh, so I got my F40s from Train World, and all of Rapido's diesel products on Train World are like pretty much the same price. They're all like $260, give or take $10 or $15.
Dude, if I were like hardcore into diesels, I'd have so many more models. Like diesels are so cheap.
Yeah.
They're just so.
I do.
Well, they aren't that much cheaper now.
Oh, so here's
like
the thing.
$300. That's like a Mikado.
We're
who's the king of steam?
Oh
yeah,
that's
so
right.
We forgot the title of the stream.
Oh, yeah.
I've been trying to get us back.
So I think at the end we've been talking about different aspects of the scene the whole time, and to tie it all back together, I think at the end everybody on the stream and everybody in the chat will take a vote, and then we'll just kind of count it for what it is.
So what are our options?
So it's Athearn, Bachmann, Rapido, Broadway Limited, MTH slash Scaletrains, and I would like to count Walther's Proto, but I think we're just gonna ignore them because they won't even tell us where the tooling is.
I wanted to bring up Walther's though.
Yeah,
because I got my Walther's right here.
I have a Walther's 080. That's or 08, not 080.
Oh,
06.
Walther's 080s. I had one of those. Those are amazing. They really
I wanted to get one so bad.
I meant to say 06, so I have a Walther's 06, so that's one of my favorite models that I have. Like that, the detail on it is
Atlas
really
J's.
good.
Yeah.
Atlas did J's. Where can I buy one?
Yes, Atlas did do J's.
Train World, I think.
Wow.
Hold on. I'm just gonna open a new.
Are they kits? When did Atlas do a Shay?
I know they do them in N's and
Very
N. I don't know if they do them in HO.
Wait,
I'm not too
Atlas did
familiar
Steam?
with their HO.
Atlas is another company that won't touch Steam, I thought.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a while back.
I know for sure, for absolute certain, they've done it in N. I'm not sure about O.
So I think
here they were in N scale, which is even more unexpected.
That makes sense.
Yeah, we're all saying that makes sense, but at the same time, why would they do that?
Because no one else
we deserve something too.
Oh, I forgot you were N
Long
scale.
guys get
I keep
everything.
ignoring that. Maybe I'm just trying to purposefully
because
erase it from my
HO's the
mind.
perfect scale.
Yeah, why would anybody
Yeah.
want to do anything else? Period.
It's the perfect scale for looking at
O
like
scale.
your
O scale
trains.
is cool, but the diesels, just with the
O scale's
with the pilot
expensive.
on the end of the truck.
Yeah.
Oh,
can't
that
do that.
bothers me so
I
much.
can't do that. I can't. I
O
love
scale's just kind of like hard to work with in size.
Yeah.
It's
You have to have a
hard
really
find
nice
much
sized
space.
house to be able to do O scale. I used to
I would
want to
say you have to have a
You have
pretty
to-
decently
you have to
sized
be
house
Eric
for HO
Siegel.
too.
Like,
Not
At least if
really.
you want to run like bigger engines, like the Alleghenies and
Well, I feel
even,
like there's a
like,
lot
Berkshires
of
and stuff.
guys who do HO scale who have it consume their entire basement, and they make like a 2,500 square foot layout. But then at
Howard
the same
Zane.
time, more of the N scale guys have a layout with maybe the same amount of track, but it's only like half of their basement in 2 layers, or like a room with like 3 different layers. I feel like N scale people are more fond of doing like the double or
Well,
triple deck layouts, whereas HO
the
people
thing with
prefer
N-
flat.
That's what he's saying.
That's true. The thing with N though is that, like, I've seen people who make decent looking mainline layouts in a 4x8, like on a door. So that's less than a 4x8. That's like 7x2.5.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to be doing with my first, well, not first layout, but the one that I'm doing in the near future. What was it? The Erie, I don't want to mispronounce it. The Erie Mahoning Division, I think it's called. It's on YouTube. You can find it. It is amazing to think that a layout that looks like a real Class 1 main line can fit on the size of your door. It's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Model
I've seen
Train
that.
Stuff did a video of of an N scale layout on a door, and this guy ran a little bit of everything from chessy up to modern stuff. And that's a really good looking little layout, and it's just on a door.
I love
Yeah.
N scale. I wish I had done N scale, honestly, but
Uh-oh. Don't
It's
say
a lot
that. Don't say
cheaper.
that.
a lot cheaper.
it is. There's a lot
If
less
I-
variety though.
Yeah, I couldn't do
If
that.
I hadn't
Yeah.
been already invested in HO, I would be getting N scale like crazy.
I've
got
been
enough
tempted.
HO, it's just not
Mhm.
worth it.
I'd
Like,
just be like,
because
me.
in
Why not
reality,
both?
if you were to sell out all your
That's
HO
expensive.
scale stuff and buy N scale, like you get a
You could buy everything.
sizable.
You can buy
Yeah.
everything in the N scale market.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
basically.
much.
Like there's like a couple of models I wouldn't mind having an N scale. Like I'd love to have a daylight set and a super chief set. Like those are
Yeah.
2 that I would just absolutely love to have. But I think HO for me is like kind of where I want to stay moving forward. I even thought at some point in time maybe I go back to O scale, but
Mhm.
I don't think that would really.
No.
Adam,
Wait,
calm down.
What's
Clint,
whoa?
It's just
At
the
one
draw. The draw for O scale for me is just their sounds.
Yeah.
Like their sounds are
But they can
unrivaled.
get bass, like, because if you HO scale sound does not sound like the real thing. Period. I feel like because if you
depends.
stand next to
I
a
beg to differ, but
steam
okay.
locomotive, it doesn't sound like the same as if it's coming out of a speaker. But that's because you need like a stereo speaker. You just can't fit it into something that small.
Well, no. Oh,
And
here's the
sound
thing.
mixing.
Look at this. Is what you need. You need to look at Rodimus Primal. Is that what's his name again? Now, Sam.
What do I
Jesus?
screen share?
Performance Locos Incorporated.
Yeah,
Oh,
performance
yeah,
levels
yeah.
on color. Look at the custom
Yes.
install that he did on his for the duplex, the Broadway Limited duplex.
Yeah.
That has
Nuts.
upscale sound in an HO engine. It's ridiculous. And the
Um,
MTH K4 that he did, also really good sound,
Yeah.
like out of this world. And even the other video that I had earlier where I was showing that Allegheny that was smoking, the sound that dude did, it's the look sound decoders, bro.
I
It's
can't find it.
Yeah.
how do I
They
say
have
this?
some versatility that doesn't exist anywhere else.
The thing about Luxound, it's Luxound and QSI Titan, and the reason why that those decoders sound so good is because you can upload your own sound files into them. You can't do that
Yeah.
with the other decoders. But like when you can customize that sound file to how you want it to sound,
Yeah.
there's some things that you can do that the other like major manufacturers they're not going to put that effort into their models.
And
Sorry.
his Class J that he did
Mm-hmm.
with like
Yeah.
it still has it's a
Oh,
Broadway model, and he still
Mhm.
has like synchronized smoke in it, and the smoke is not quite like synchronized, but it still actually smokes, and
Mhm.
it sounds amazing. Like
yeah. We can't talk about the J class in front of Cameron because he gets really mad. But I agree with you.
I don't get mad at the J class. I don't
Last
really
time
get
you got
hyped
pretty
for it.
mad.
Wait,
Also,
he-
No,
got mad?
I said if you put a gun to my head and said name one streamliner that you don't really like, I would have to say the J class. I still love
Get
the
out.
J class.
Get out.
Yeah, we're
Get
still
out.
can't
I don't
accept
know
that
how.
here.
I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would put it above like the J3A.
To be honest,
Like,
I'm on
like
the same page.
where would you guys? You obviously you guys have a strong opinions about it. Where would you put it in the rank of like of steam streamlined locomotives? I don't. There's a lot of really
only talking about streamlined. I'd say that it would be number one.
What, the J?
Really?
Yeah,
I would disagree.
not
I
a
would say
just
that
because
or
I live
something?
in the area where they kind of work. Like I'm in the Norfolk and Western, like the very north tip of that. I kind of have like a
Of course, the guy
liking
who
of
lives
that.
in Appalachia is gonna say, "Oh,
This is-
Norfolk and
this is
Western's
what-
the best."
This is what I would say. In terms of what I personally like, I think the Daylight is the best looking.
I
But
was
in
gonna
terms of
disagree. That's like number 5. Like I don't know what's
East Coast
between this,
versus
but
West
I just
Coast here.
I just
Wait,
don't
hang
really
on,
like it. I don't like it too much.
well, Drew,
Oh, the
you
Daylight's
know what?
spectacular.
Well, I am like to the GS4 what Cameron is to the J class.
Let me say.
I was gonna
let-
say I can appreciate that.
let me say this. I think that the most iconic streamline engine forever, for all time, is going to be the Dreyfuss Hudson.
Yeah, we
because
can agree.
20th
Scotsman.
century.
the 20th Century Limited, that I forget what the art style is called, but the art style, the Art Deco of that time.
But just like we were saying, that's overused to the point where I don't want to see another one, and I'd be fine.
But what I'm saying is that there's something about the way that the Dreyfuss Hudson looks that makes it so iconic. Though that's why every cartoon that you ever watched growing up as a kid, Iron Giant, SpongeBob, they all copy that model. It's always a force.
Dreyfuss.
The last Van Halen tour used it as their photo. They had the Dreyfuss Hudson on the last Van Halen tour.
Mm-hmm.
Big
So
Steam
it's-
theory,
When people think of steam, when the general public thinks of a steam engine, that's
Rest in peace,
typically
Eddie.
what comes to mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I would say that's probably arguably the best in terms of pop, like American pop culture. Like that's the most iconic. But it turns,
of course, the British
and then
person.
maybe followed by like a GS4.
The
I
Flying
mentioned the Flying
That's not
Scotsman
really
actually.
streamlined,
The most
is it?
I like the look of the aesthetic of the
But
Flying
we're talking
Scotsman. The
model.
aesthetic of any
I would call it
European
semi-streamlined.
steam locomotive. I really like it. So
Well,
I would
European
agree with
steam-
Andy. I don't think it's the most iconic in my
Maybe-
opinion, just because I
maybe
like
Mallard.
the East Coast stuff. But I do
Yeah.
like that a lot.
My problem
Can
with
I-
Europeans,
A4s.
especially models, is their OO gauge. That's not
Yeah.
a scale. And if you, it's
Yeah.
1/76 scale, so it's bigger than HO scale. Yet the model should be smaller. than-
Only Britain could come up with like
Yeah.
a way to
Well, they-
further
I
split
put my
HO.
double O
It's
gauge
just
stuff next to
motors.
my HO stuff, and I mean it's a little off, but it's not like from the 3-foot rule, right? The 3-foot rule, it's fine. The Mallard, just right here, I think that's kind of like that is
the Mallard is super iconic.
That's the UK version of what we were talking about, the overused steam locomotive stereotype. That's what I think.
The Mallard is to the UK is what the Dreyfuss is to America.
Yeah.
Well, I would say it's more like the GS4 because it's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So the Mallard
when you're
isn't running anymore.
counting
Since
like
11.
the A4s, the whole A4 class, there's a whole bunch of sisters to the Mallard that are still
Hey
around
guys,
too.
let's build a Dreyfuss Hudson. Let's do it.
Yeah, they're building a duplex. Why can't we build a Dreyfuss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Start sending me money.
Dude, that's
tax
one thing. I was like,
deductible.
when I first saw the T1 Trust, I'm like, really, a T1
Yeah.
and not a Dreyfuss?
Well, no,
like,
I
the
love
first
I
new
love the look of the
locomotive you're gonna
T1.
build
Like,
Is
does
the
that count
T1?
as streamlined?
Yes.
Yes.
It
That's my
absolutely
number
does.
2. Then that's my number 2.
Yeah, it's kind of got like a sharp.
Wasn't the
Yeah.
streamlining designed by one of like the guys?
Raymond
that did all the
Loewy.
Streamlining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Raymond Loewy,
Yeah.
who also designed the Shell logo and I think the original Coca-Cola.
Wasn't he the
something.
same guy
He
from the
was
S1
a
too?
genius.
Didn't Raymond Loewy also design the Dreyfuss and the Commodore Vanderbilt?
He didn't
No,
do the
Dreyfuss.
The
Dreyfuss
was
was
Dreyfuss.
Henry Dreyfuss, right?
That's
Wasn't
right.
that his name?
That's right.
Oh, okay.
All right, history. We're doing good.
See, my knowledge is mostly like real steam locomotives. It's
Yeah,
less
Yeah.
models.
One of my like favorite streamliners, probably an unpopular opinion, but the UP49er.
Oh,
the bathtub.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Oh yeah.
So I love
I
the
love that thing.
462 one, not the 482. The 462 is right it has the right proportions. But the
49.
482 looks funny.
I think
I
another
like
one
both of
that's
them.
I think it's another one severely
so
underrated is the
limited.
Hiawatha. I love the Hiawatha.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
Hiawatha.
yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree on
Yeah.
that.
One that
I love
so
Broadway.
from an East Coast person who's supposed to like the streamlined K4, I don't know.
I like
don't
like the look of
version
Broadway
the
did it.
Streamline K4.
The
I don't-
K4 the Streamline K4 just kind of looks like
It looks
I
like
don't
a
like it.
toy.
trying to mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It looks
I don't-
like the J before the J.
yeah.
I don't like the way Broadway did it either. Like, I'm not a fan of.
How
the way
dare
they
you
did it.
talk
Well,
about Broadway
yeah.
like that?
I don't think
Hey,
Broadway-
After we sing their praises all night, you're gonna admit. No.
You look at old
No, dude, we're
photos of
trying
the
to get
streamlined
free-
K4, and it looks like a toy
I don't,
in like real life. It's odd.
I don't think it sounds very good. Like, I just don't think it sounds good.
Oh,
I love that the conversation somehow always
Well,
goes back
also-
to Broadway.
Oh my god.
Also, Broadway
Oh,
put
because
the-
it has to
Broadway's
trash
just one of the
them.
most interesting ones to talk about.
Yeah.
They're just
It's
They do
because
so
they come
much
out with so
good.
much stuff. Like,
Mhm.
and
They
they're
really
really
are.
good models.
They're
Like,
the
they're
only big
honestly,
direction.
if I were to say one manufacturer is the king of Steam, I would probably say Broadway. Not
Rapido.
for
Oh
quality,
yeah.
but just
agree.
for locking down
Variety.
the market.
Yeah,
Because-
yeah.
Yes.
Nobody
Yeah.
else has the variety that they
I
have.
would probably agree with Cam, and here's why. Because kind of to get us back on topic, the reason why Broadway is probably the king of Steam. If you're gonna like, well, all the things that we talked about tonight, right? Every company that we brought up, they've had production issues with their steam locomotives,
Yeah.
and that's because it's just par for the course. So we can't really knock anybody for that. Because every single person that's ever produced a steam engine in any scale has had production issues because
including
there's so
Alco, Baldwin, Lima. They've
Everybody.
all had their problems.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
inherent
yeah.
problem you run with Steam.
There's
But
so many
Broadway consistently pumps out like solid Steam locomotive models, and they have a good variety, and they do some obscure stuff that not a lot of other companies do.
Yeah, they did the S2, the
Yeah.
Pensi S2, didn't they?
Yeah. I
I
think
don't-
if Broadway
They-
put
That's really
ESU
cool.
decoders or even soundtracks decoders into their
or
models,
DCC
They did
Red.
the
they would be
duplex. I don't
they
know if
would be
did
the king of
S2.
Steam. But just
That's
because of the electronics, that's a big hesitation point.
Well, here's
Yeah.
the thing.
And it's very
Andy-
hard to rip their decoders out. It's not easy.
Yeah, half the people who buy them rip their decoder right out.
Yeah.
You can't sell it because nobody
Um,
wants it.
So here's the thing. I don't want to knock Broadway for the sound because
Because it sounds good.
because sound
does.
here's the deal. Sound not only is it somewhat to a certain degree it's somewhat subjective.
Yeah,
outside of
Those are the
that,
tricks, big boy.
no, that's an abomination. That's just wrong. That they did something morally wrong with the Tricks Big Boy. Okay, but
Yeah.
but
That's
that
my
was-
tone.
because so here's the deal. Sound aside, because the other half of it is that you can take any sound decoder and put it in pretty much any engine. So if you wanted to put the effort in, you could just rip out the Paragon 2, Paragon 3 decoder and be fine.
Mhm.
Well, I think when you're discussing like the king of Steam from a manufacturer standpoint, you have to look at like, okay, what's their catalog look like? Like, what's their catalog of Steam? How many Steam locomotives do they make? Do they consistently put out like good models? And with the exception of all the issues that they've had, Broadway does put out a good Steam model, and they have not only do they do plastic, they do die cast and they do
Yeah.
brass.
And
like,
they're
they have
moving
a
to
good
doing
variety.
more diecast.
Yeah, and more brass models. So they have a good hold on the Steam market. That's probably why when I'm like, even when I look at my shelf, I'm like, that's why I have so many Broadway models, because they pump out so much.
They have
Absolutely.
good variety.
And so
I also think because the reason why you and like kind of me, we have so many Broadway things is because they're, especially now, they're kind of the only ones playing the game.
Yeah.
They're kind of on their own playing field, and I think that has something to do with their quality control, because there isn't any real competition. So if they make a Q2 like the 4464, if they make that, somebody's gonna buy it because
Right.
we're not
Because
spending
the
$3,000
Q2
Nobody else
is
makes it, yeah.
awesome.
They're gonna
Yeah.
buy it.
And here's another thing: you got to
triplex. You know,
you got to think of it this way: Broadway sells out every time they put out a model.
Yeah,
a steam model. They always sell out. Like a lot of the older, there are some like the Hudson. There are people that still want that Paragon 2 Hudson, and you can't get it anymore. It's been out of production for years, and it's that Hudson. The sound is the J1 the J1E.
J1E, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good model. I like it. I think it's a good model.
I ripped out the sound in mine, and I put Wow Sound in, and runs like a top. It's a great model.
So this Tuesday I recorded. I don't know if you've heard of the Scaletrains decoder buddy, but I recorded an interview with him. So a lot of people, what they're concerned about Broadway Limited is you need to completely rewire everything. And one of the products he was considering to start making was a decoder buddy, which if you don't know what that is, it's an easy lighting system where you plug and play a decoder, and that's the lighting board. And so his thing was he was going to look into making a board where you can plug the pins, because Broadway Limited uses those like RC connector pins, and he was going to make a system where you could plug the pin onto his board and then just stick that's what and it was me, and he had Larry Linger, I forget his name, but he's a big part of the Decoder Buddy company too. And so we were just all talking about how that would sell really well because everybody wants it.
Doesn't someone already? Well, actually, I know that someone already makes like just plain lighting boards. Like you just hook your wires into the circuit board for the lights, and you just go. I actually just purchased like 4 for a few projects that I want to do. But I think that's neat, though. I didn't know that he's thinking about working on like basically a swap out for the Broadway Limited decoders. That would be sick.
That would be awesome.
TCS was talking about that years ago, but that was literally 5 years ago.
They missed. They dropped the ball on that. They need to.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Because I would. What do you definitely? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you guys think is the rarest Broadway Limited steam engine ever made?
The New Haven.
What's become the rarest?
The New Haven thing. Oh,
as soon as I remember the number, I will tell you.
Which New Haven? The I4, I5?
I think the I5. That's the streamline one.
Streamliner.
No, because they've had 2 runs of the i5s.
Yeah, but only the first run's a good run. The second run, they went cheapo on it. I will bash them on that. I thought that was really horrendous. The second run one.
But what I'm saying is, if we're talking about rarity, I think that the i4 would be rarer than the i5.
The i4 is probably more rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that they went through. Go ahead. My bad, Drew. My bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I was just gonna say, I think that the rarest model for Broadway. Are we talking about? Are we considering when they were precision scale models?
You can do precision craft,
yeah,
or precision craft models. Excuse me. I don't think that's fair though, because that's not technically under the Broadway Limited banner.
Yeah.
So let's not.
I think that's a different name.
The precision craft only did the 210, the I1. They did the 484, the T1. They did the Y6B. I think those were the 3 that precision craft did.
So everything we're talking about is Pennsylvania stuff, because Broadway Limited went through this period for the past decade or so where they're just pumping out new steam tooling, and it sells out quick and everybody loves it. And it seems like 3 years ago it just stopped, and we haven't seen anything. They haven't really been running too much Pennsylvania stuff. They haven't been making new tooling period in a while. And it would be nice to see some of that come back again.
They can just keep running big boys and FEFs.
Yeah, that's what, and that's where the industry's turned. Like we see it in Athearn, we saw it in MTH, where everybody realizes they don't need to keep tooling these new locomotives. They can just run big boys and 611s until they get the money.
The market's getting too saturated. The market's getting too saturated with big. I think what a lot of these companies they're trying to milk that as long as they can to generate revenue, and I get that and makes sense. If people are going to buy it, why not just keep manufacturing it? But I think it's going to get to a point where the market, and it's getting to that point now, the market is too saturated with big boys. Every manufacturer makes. I'm surprised Atlas hasn't announced that they're doing a big boy yet.
Exactly,
like everyone freaking has one.
Everybody
has one.
And there's some that are clearly better or worse than others, but they all sell because they all have a specific group of people who follow that company, and they'll just put their money into it.
Keep in mind also, nobody has gotten the big boy quite right. Not
yes,
perfect.
I agree.
Nobody's done it perfect.
If you want perfect, you got to go to brass. This is
how well, the big thing is on
sort of some of it's kind of funny, like the tricks having the wrong sized wheels, like the wrong getting the drivers wrong.
Bar.
How do you get the drivers wrong on your
did that on
locomotive?
purpose, actually,
for $800, and it's not worth $800.
Yeah, I'm just gonna MTH. But
what if they're just like doing it as a joke, like just
and then the MTH ones with the drawbars too. It's like these are such simple things. It's not even like oh, the paint on this one valve head is red when it's supposed to be black. It's like
and the
drawbar is like 7 feet apart.
Right.
We could do an entire podcast about people not painting things right.
But But hang on, Adam brought up a really good question that I think we should address. What is the rarest Broadway Limited steam locomotive? I would say, in my opinion, probably the Q2.
Yeah,
the Q2.
I want that Q2 so bad. I've never seen it anywhere.
What is the rarest Broadway Limited locomotive?
I'll tell you guys what it is, but I can wait for the chat to guess. I know the answer.
Just say it.
Okay,
No, the chat's on a delay, so if anybody's thinking about taping a response, we'll put it on.
Get this one, I bet. So in around 2006 or 7, I was really young in the hobby at the time. Broadway Limited did a collaboration with True Line Trains of Canada, which used to be Proto 2000 of Canada or whatever. And they did one run of 2 engine numbers of a Canadian National K5A Hudson 464. It was a hybrid model, and Broadway Limited did one run of these 2 engine numbers, and they are the absolute rarest Broadway Limited model ever. I've only ever seen 2 on eBay.
I have. There's a club member.
That's a rare one.
There's a guy at the train show that actually he has both, and he runs them every show. I'm like, who makes those?
Cool models.
I'm like, who makes that? He's like, Broadway Limited. I'm like, really? I'm like, I've never seen that before. But when the moment you said that Canadian, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah. I knew Clint.
Can we pull up a picture K5A? Okay.
The only big name shop that I know that's had one is brasstrains.com. If you type in Brass Trains and then Broadway Limited Canadian National K5, it should come up.
K5A.
That's a pretty
K5.
I think K5A. It's K5A, and it's a semi-streamlined engine. Going back.
Can you find it on the Broadway Limited website? Like, is there concept art?
No. If you go to the old discontinued list, it's there.
All the way at the bottom.
All the way at the bottom, and that one will never come back because that was a partnership with True Line.
Yeah.
Well, the tooling I think is owned by probably
nobody knows who owns the tooling. Just it's awful to
Yeah. So. And no one knows probably where the research is either. Clint and I were talking about this last night. You know, that research, it's such a shame that brass companies or old steam drawings from, engines that won't be produced again, like the K5, that information isn't shared. And
no.
Oh, no, that's brass imports.
That's
it down there. Yep. There you go. Beautiful model.
I've only ever seen one of those at a show, and it was only the once.
Oh, I've seen those.
I've seen them for sale, but it's pretty rare.
One thing I'd
like to mention, Rapido has the chassis of the Hudson tooled from the Royal Hudson. So we're going to see this from them after the D10, and the Canadian National from them is most likely going to be kind of canceled or set to the side for a long period of time. So I think we could see this from them is what I'm trying to get at.
I'd love to see Rapido continue to do steam engines, not only Canadian. I'm sure one day they'll do some American stuff. They already do European steam engines that are absolutely killer.
I would love to see a Santa Fe Hudson. Like one of the later ones that look like a shrunk down Northern.
Oh,
those ones look
the Santa Fe only had 5 of those, but that's one of the coolest Hudsons ever built.
Yeah, one of them's still around, isn't it?
I think so.
I could see Broadway doing a model like that as hybrid. I could definitely see Broadway.
Somebody, whoever does that needs to do the Blue Goose.
Oh my God!
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Blue Goose.
I'm amazed
really,
we didn't
really
talk
well.
about the Blue Goose when we were talking about
The Blue
Streamlines
Goose is
earlier.
Streamline. Blue Goose.
but it's a cool piece.
But see, the thing is, whoever does the Blue Goose, they're gonna have to do matching passenger cars. You have to.
Yeah.
Well, no, there was only ever one passenger car painted in the same scheme. Yeah,
Really?
Santa Fe normally, that engine normally pulled the Grand Canyon train.
Well, none of us knew, so I think plenty of people would buy it.
Exactly. I'm with you.
It's just, and Broadway Limited just did a whole bunch of their P5A box cabs and fantasy schemes, and they sold really, really well. Like, they sold out quick.
Well, the good thing is they don't have to produce all that many to produce a special road name or road or paint scheme, whatever. I think the quantity they need is only like 100.
Really?
And,
for Rapido, they tried to get a couple hundred before to make it profitable. I didn't know that Broadway Limited had such a low bar.
Well, I think now I can't speak for Broadway, but I know when they did the Amherst Railway Society SW7 or SW1500, they produced like something like 100 around that number.
Well, custom runs are usually a bit less.
Yeah, and they were able to, but in theory, same logic, you should be able to do just about any paint scheme, even if it's a Fubi paint scheme.
Yeah.
Like they did a Ghost Gray Big Boy.
I think this whole discussion is a good a good example of why Broadway Limited would be a decent contender for the title of King of Steam, because they have their permanent runs. They have their permanent stuff like the cab forwards that they're always going to have, but then they also have and then they also have these rarer stuff that they do. Their brass hybrid line and stuff.
I hope they do smaller steam.
That's what everyone needs to do.
And there have been stuff that they announced long ago. I mean, I'm digging back here. They announced the President Series of Baltimore and Ohio 462s. In theory, they already have the chassis. The chassis is the same as the Heavy Pacific. In fact, those USRA Pacifics, that's a great starting point for so many specific railroad models, because the USRA designs were built after the war for decades, up into the 30s. I'm sure you can even find examples of USRA based designs of new steam engines. So
were they designed to be modified per road like that?
The Q1? Is that what it's called?
When the USRA took over railroads in 1916 or whatever the year was, 15, they laid out 5 plans or 6 plans of steam locomotives. All of them actually have been modeled. Proto did the 060, the 080, the 210-2, the 2882, which is based on the N&W Y3. And all of those are incredibly good bases, especially the Pacific and the Mikado, for so many railroad specific engines. I think the New York Central K5, the President Series B&O engines. What else could you do? You could do so much.
Mikado MK6.
The common standard Mikados, which would also work for Southern Pacific. It's kind of crazy the amount of stuff that could be done, but there needs to be, not saying Broadway can't do a lot of it, but there needs to be another company that is willing to do weird stuff.
I think that's where Scaletrains is going to be.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think
Scaletrains, and I hope they'll do more. So
I think Scaletrains is going to do weird stuff, but here's the problem. And this isn't really necessarily a bad thing, but here's the problem with Scaletrains when it comes to being a contender for doing weird stuff. They like to take their time because they want to put out a quality product. They're not going to be pumping out engines like Broadway does. You're not going to probably see that for another decade because they're still a young company. Even Rapido, who's been doing this longer, they're not pumping out models like steam locomotive models like
decade. They're not going to be anywhere near Broadway.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, Scaletrains is gonna.
It's not a bad thing, though.
No, it's not. And that's what I'm saying, because at least we know every time we get a steam engine, it's going to be quality. But I think if someone's going to do it, maybe Athearn. I can see Athearn going out and doing some more obscure steam if they would just hit that market and do smaller steam, or maybe even Bachmann. If Bachmann got the balls to do some smaller steam locomotives.
Yeah.
But
and that's what they retooled
as
their
opposed to their moguls and their prairies.
Yeah, I would rather if they retooled a prairie, that would probably have been a smarter decision, but I'm not a business executive there, so I wouldn't.
That prairie chassis on a tank engine?
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to use the new tooling for the 060 and make that into like a makeshift prairie, because that would piss a lot of people off.
That's what they already did, wasn't it?
Well, no, because they're making a brand new tool for their 060. And I wonder, because people don't like their
they're just going to do the same thing again. Just slap a couple extra wheels on it.
I know. I'm
prairie,
like, if they make the new tool of the 6-wheeler and then they make that into a prairie too, I'm like, that's just going to be like...
That would be so funny, though.
That's like throwing salt into a wound.
I honestly might just buy that for the meme.
Just for the
memes.
Thank you for coming, John. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for being here, man.
It's really cool.
Great to have you, bro.
It's always good to have some big names in.
I'm afraid that's what Broadway might do with the FEF, because like they got the base, like the Niagara, and like they've made so many 484s in the past that I feel like it might just be like this Frankenstein thing. And I know it won't be, because it'll be like they'll be smarter than that, but they might try and do like the smoking whistle on it again, and it's just like,
who's that? Broadway?
Yeah.
Wait, they're gonna do the smoking whistle on what model?
The FEF.
Oh yeah, they probably would. Here's what
he said. It will be comparable to their big boy and Challenger.
So who's he? Was it the service guy or?
It was one of their. I don't know who he was.
Oh, okay.
Pull up the email, but I don't.
Some guy that works at Broadway.
Some guy that knows what he's talking about.
Because they're not big. Like everybody knows what's going on in that company.
But it'll have like marker lights lit up and number boards, and like the cab lights. It'll be die cast.
Yeah.
And if he's
saying
be really
cool
quality, it'll have all of those things. But it also
will it have Paragon 4?
That's what I was wondering.
That's the thing.
So what could Paragon 4 be? Like period.
Yeah.
What would it be?
What would that be?
Hopefully customizable sounds that you just plug into your computer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what. Paragon 4
just Paragon 3
TCS. TCS.
TCS is not. Listen, here's the thing you guys got to understand from a business standpoint.
Don't get them started.
Shut up, train guy. Go get an Intermountain cab forward. No, listen.
All right.
Listen. From a business standpoint, Broadway's not gonna license out somebody else's decoder, but they can do it in house.
Yeah,
it's just not gonna happen. If they can,
and they had their supply chain too, from an even more business perspective.
If they listen, the best thing that they could do is improve their sounds. Because, like, listen, they've probably got a very robust sound library. I guarantee you, there's tons of whistles that they haven't even used yet, and they also have the means to go out and record more if they want to. The thing is this: if there is going to be eventually a Paragon 4, which there probably will be, like Adam was saying, it's probably they're probably going to give you the option to customize the sounds yourself and be able to, because you got to think about it. They're uploading those sound files into the decoders somehow. So if you give the general public the capability to do that, that would be game breaking.
Well, with their experimentation in Bluetooth, I wouldn't be surprised if they got like a Broadway Limited app.
Yes.
Who's experimentation in Bluetooth?
That would be cool.
Broadway's with Rolling Thunder.
Yeah.
That's
Bluetooth,
the thing.
Because Paragon 2 was just like a new decoder. Like it was just like, here's new sound. But Paragon 3 was new sound and adding something that wasn't done before. The big subwoofer, the Bluetooth, everything. And then
do you guys
that's
have
what
the
I think they're
subwoofer?
gonna. I don't.
I do. I bought it. It wasn't worth it. But
I was about to say, did it enhance it at all, or was it really just not worth it?
Here's the deal.
Probably just a thud.
No, it's not just a thud. Like it definitely sounds kind of like you're next to a train, but it's just the way it works. It feels gimmicky. Like I feel like if they had took that time and money that they spent developing that and put it into giving us the ability to customize sounds instead, I think that would have been far superior.
Yeah.
Also, I will add this. If they give people the ability to customize sounds, they should give people the ability to upload their own custom sound files as well.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
well,
would be.
I think they will, and I think they will because they're adding on the trajectory that they're on. Paragon 3 was not just new sound; it was adding something to it that can, make your railroad a more immersive experience. And I think what they're going to do, Paragon 4 is not. I mean, it will be an upgrade in sound, but it'll be more or less an upgrade in the technology side of it, and it will be more of a customization standpoint.
Yeah,
right.
And it will be more like of an interface, much
That
less
was,
of sound.
that's what we need. That's where the hobby needs to get to, is integrating more modern technology in our trains. Lionel's doing a really good job of that right now.
Yeah,
I think
that's why they're still around.
Yeah. I think a lot of the companies also think, every single customer is 70 plus years old and can't use a computer.
Yeah.
And that's really, I don't see that the case anymore. There's so many young people. You all, you guys are young, right?
Yeah.
And,
I think so.
Adam.
I'm told that.
Is anybody here over
I don't
30?
feel young, but
I'm not.
No,
No,
we're all under 30 here.
Me and Sam are in high
Two
school.
of us are
Eric's
under
in
20.
college,
Yeah.
I think. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
you're the youngest, aren't you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm 16. So
I'm 18.
I think.
Adorable. I remember those days. So
Oh.
Be young
I
and
still
free.
remember those days. It worries me.
Wait, what did you
Garrett,
say?
aren't you in college or did you graduate?
I have
College?
not-
What's that? I went to
Oh.
work.
Oh.
See, adulting.
I'm on my COVID year.
Gotta get the trains.
Yeah.
Gotta work to get the trains.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to throw in the mix real quick. I think an engine that you're gonna see manufacturers start making. I think I could see Broadway doing this. Maybe Athearn is the Chesapeake and Ohio 1309. I think you're gonna.
Please,
Since
someone
That'd be
Yeah.
a big thing.
Please,
Bachman-
someone
the
do that.
Y6B, right? They're
Someone
doing another
outside
one
of
those.
Bachman, please do that.
They're
Yeah.
doing them. Yes,
Well,
they're
I
doing.
think
Broadway
Bachman
Limited
You
has
just
the
said
Y6B,
Y6B.
and they're
Wait,
rerunning it right now.
Is Broadway Limited doing it?
Y69
Y6B,
is
yes,
not a
they're rerunning it
Y6B.
right now.
Oh, I know
The-
YC. They're
Not
doing
the Y6B. That's not what we're talking about. The Malay, the 2662, the Chesapeake
An
CNO
H6.
1309.
H6.
Oh, I'm
You
thinking.
just
it's
think
completely
all compound
different.
steam engines are the same?
Hey,
Shame.
you know what?
They could do an H4, an H5, and an H6 if they had the chassis for an for any one of those. They could do all
Bachman
three.
already did the 2662s, didn't they?
They
They
did.
did, but someone could do it better.
They're
Yeah.
stupid
Yeah.
hard to find.
Die
Very
cast.
expensive.
They could definitely do
They're
it better.
expensive?
But if they
I
just
knew-
brought back those
Yeah.
old,
They are
I know
now.
somebody who
Bachman
has
ones
one.
are
know.
$400.
I know. They used to be like 150,
So we're
200
all
bucks.
talking down
for
about the
Clinton
Bachman thing
Wait,
we made. But my thing about it is, a layout I operate at, the guy who owns it has one, and I mean, I wouldn't expect it to be Bachman. Like it could pass as Broadway Limited.
It's a nice
With the
model.
3-foot rule.
Yeah.
With the
Bachman
3-foot
does look
rule,
like
it could pass as Broadway Limited.
It's just very light. As
Yeah,
with all
I
Bachman,
agree.
that's
Wheel
one of the
slip
but
is a
if,
big
if you're
problem.
bringing it back though, you could fix that problem really easily.
And
Well, I think
Bachman
if
is doing
did it, they would
diecast
have
now,
to put
aren't they?
Yeah, they'd have to do a diecast frame and a diecast boiler to give it enough weight, and that's how the Y6B has always been. That Y6B is one of the best pullers I think ever made. I think that thing can pull like 300 cars.
Broadway needs to get credit for that
pulling
Y6B. That Y6B
Yeah.
outside of the
Pulling power
pulling
in
power is
general.
just a great model. It's such a good model.
Yeah.
They
There was
won
a guy-
I want
a
one
long time
so
ago
bad.
awards for it.
Okay,
There's a guy at one of my
I'm feeling
clubs that has a
completely-
Broadway Y6, and he's pulled something like 216 hoppers
Yep.
with that thing.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah.
So are we talking about the BLI Y6B?
The Broadway
Yes.
Y6.
I thought we were still talking about Bachman. I was like,
No.
when did they do a Y6B?
No,
Why not do
Proto
something that can
Proto
pull
did a
200 cars?
Y3.
Proto,
Yeah, exactly.
Proto did a Did they do a
Brodo
Y62?
needs to apologize for leaving us in the dark.
They kind of do.
They did.
Yeah.
I know Proto in N scale did one of the NNW ones. I think it was a Y5. I want to say
They did like the USRA 2882s, and it kind of like did it in all road names. I think they even did it in Pennsylvania, which was like kind of cringe.
He's like a fantasy scheme, which is weird. Super cringe.
not entirely out of the realm of possibility though, because they did test an A
So
class.
here's one thing I want to bring up, and this is completely changing the topic. I apologize, but so Train World did a
changing
Thomas.
the topic.
How
Train
dare
Wor-
you?
I just want to bring this up from a YouTube perspective. Train World did a live stream about Thomas the Tank Engine. It had 1,000 concurrent viewers.
Wow.
Which is unheard of. So
Listen
I'm
to
like,
me.
maybe we're just going to
Was
change
it hosted by
the
Joe
Manifest podcast to the Thomas podcast, and we're all
Listen
just
to
going to
me.
get subscribers.
When
And then
y'all want-
all of a sudden we'll change it back, and we're going to lose them all.
Listen, when y'all are ready to go down the Thomas the Tank Engine iceberg, let me know. Like, dude, that community.
We should do that. That's next week. That's next week.
Oh my god, bro. Dude,
Clint,
Thomas.
I remember when you made a video on the trains are as addictive as cocaine.
Oh
You,
my god.
Watch this article, and
Oh god, dude.
I remember
shame
you
cocaine's
talking about
cheaper.
that, and I was probably like 10 watching that, and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever heard. Just watching you rip apart this article, and it was hilarious.
That's
Dude,
what
yeah,
I think. I watched.
Somebody send me that video. I want to watch that now.
Oh my
What?
god, dude. I don't even remember what I said in that video. That
We
video
can
was
watch it
so-
live right now. That would be a
Please
good way
don't.
to just kind of wrap things up.
I would appreciate you not watching that trash video.
And then you ranted about MTH, how
I
like
know.
they messed up the big boy.
Uh,
It's like I used some of those lines.
look,
It's
the
like, I didn't
regret on
pay
this man's
500 bucks
face.
for a paperweight.
Oh, look at that.
Wait, what are you guys doing?
This is exactly why I subscribed to him 5 years ago.
Sweet god, dude. Oh man, young Clint.
oh,
God.
post the link. The chat wants
Young
to see
young
the video.
Clint was a different kind of Clint. He
It was-
had no breaks.
I'm gonna look
I
at
don't
the
have
link
breaks.
to
What are you
the-
talking about? That didn't change. I'm just a bit more refined now.
Oh,
Yeah,
your
that's what
your tastes
I'm like a
have
fine wine. I get
adjusted
better
with
with.
times.
I don't
learned-
disagree. I don't disagree, but there is something
Yeah,
to
how
be
to
said
find one,
about
I
just
can't
that
tell the
that
difference.
old school 2012, just kind of
Yeah.
that shit poster. Just
bro, like
just didn't
back,
care.
you got to understand, bro. Like back then, dude, like YouTube, the train community was so different. And I wanted to do, I don't want to do make it a whole thing about like how I got in my channel and shit, but like it's just. I try to do things that nobody else would talk about, you know, like that was kind of my shtick.
It was different.
I remember back then
you talk
nobody
about
ever
Bachman
wanted to
making
be
a big boy.
negative.
No, dude, that was the thing.
true.
I was never afraid to be like, listen, this is shit. Like this is not a good model. Like
That's what I
these sounds
remember
suck.
drew me to your channel is that you were sitting there and you were being honest with what you were saying, and I'm so used to like even James sort of does this on his channel where it's you go over all the positives, like oh look at all of the detail, and then just kind of brush through like the operational side of things and don't even address some of the controversies, and it's just look how great this looks on a table.
So I found the video.
Less, how does it
God.
run?
Model
Yeah.
railways promote sexism and are as addictive as cocaine.
yeah.
WTF?
Okay, so y'all
The second
wait. Can I
part I would
give
agree
a
on.
bit of backstory? Can I give a bit of backstory to that video?
I won't
Yeah,
play
yeah.
it. I swear I will not
No,
play it.
you
Nor
can
will I
play
share
it.
the link in the chat.
No, you can play it and you can share the link in the chat.
I
I'm
have
totally okay with
permission.
that.
Oh,
So, but may I give some backstory while you do that?
yes.
Yeah.
So the reason why I did that video, I was just on my computer one day, being the angsty teenager that I was at the time, right? And I was just like, I wonder if there are any articles that like talk bad about model railroading. And so I went on Google and I was like,
Oh, it's just you talking the whole time.
yeah, that's it. That was
Yeah.
because see, here's the thing you have to understand, bro. Like, so when James and Eric Siegel, right, when they were doing all their reviews, they're buying all these new engines and stuff. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I can't compete with that. and I didn't have the money to like buy a new model. I got maybe a new model 3 or 4 times a year if I was lucky.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, me too.
And that's still a lot for someone my age. But anyway,
that is a lot. I got 1 or 2 like in half a decade.
But I worked a lot when I was younger. I had my own business. Anyway. Another story for another day. But the point is this, right? Like I was looking for smoke on the internet at the time, and I was trying to find like an article that was talking bad about model railroading, and that was the first one that popped up. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a video about this. And so I just turned my little camera on, and actually it was my iPod. I had an iPod Nano. I just turned my little iPod on, hit record, and I went with it.
I clicked on the article.
I remember we used to be able to do that.
Dude.
Just turn on your webcam and just
make a video.
Talk shit for
the
20 minutes.
iPod Nano was one of the greatest devices ever.
This is the actual article.
Boy, here we go.
Yeah, this is the article that started it all.
God.
This is taking me back.
This
Can we read this? Like, can we read this for a second?
2012. Yes, read it.
A recent American study has concluded that as many as 1 million people worldwide are highly addicted to playing with model railways. The condition affects mainly middle-aged males, some of whom are alleged to spend some up to 80 hours a week involved in what experts have described as a dangerously solitary pursuit and a compulsion that interferes with normal life.
I wouldn't say what's normal life?
What is
I don't think anybody has a normal life.
This is completely true.
Notice how they say it promotes sexism while they also say it affects middle-aged males.
I think
we're the ones promoting it.
A significant percentage of the respondents within the study suffered from agitation when they were unable to play with trains or missed sleep or meals to tend to their layouts or source small industrial shunters online. Oh my god.
Where did he source them?
Yeah, I don't know how to source industrial shunters online.
Oh my god, bro.
Okay, let's finish the paragraph. Let's try to get to the end. In the extreme phases of addiction, men may regard personal hygiene as a waste of time, suffer from weight gain and disrupted sleep patterns, avoid phone calls from friends, and find themselves lying about time spent tinkering with low reduction gearboxes.
Listen, not when you run your trains with your phone. Come on, like,
whoa.
You know, if you've ever spent any time at a train show, some of that's true.
I mean, Adam's right.
None of this is wrong.
I think if you take any group of 100 Americans, like it's not going to be, you know.
Can I read the next paragraph? Can I read for the sake of nostalgia?
Yes, use your emotions.
Here we
all right.
Same age Bring it back. Bring back.
Do us proud.
No. This is
proud.
This is modern. This is modern. Clint reviewing a classic. All right. Men are perceived to be in danger of losing all social skills and ceasing to interact with their families altogether. We don't know where this might go in the future, said a commentator on a recent television chat show. After all, technology is developing all the time, and we have no idea what this kind of thing might be doing to their brains. These men seem to prefer lurking in their own attics, fiddling with ever more extensive layouts rather than socializing with the opposite sex or interacting with other human beings. Suck a dick article.
Oh my god.
Aged like fine wine, dude.
Yeah, that aged well.
Now that you can do it on your phone, you can scroll Tinder and run trains
interacting with the opposite sex. What a shock!
In these days, you could literally replace all of these references to model trains with video games.
Yeah, there's a lot you could replace it with.
Even back 2011, you could have made that argument for games back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2011. That's what Modern Warfare 3, Battlefield 3.
I don't play video games. I have no idea.
Do you want me to finish this?
GTA
finish it with your emotions.
Yeah.
Sweet God.
Bring the nostalgia to an end.
I love how his mic is peaking just like the old school too.
Oh yeah. Just turn the gain all the way up and talk right into it.
I can
you're like right here.
We can still hear you, but it's peaking. It adds to the nostalgia, though. It sounds like
my bad. I didn't realize that it was that close. My bad. Okay. Playing with model railways is admitted to be a largely male pursuit. Although the average model rail enthusiast is a middle-aged man, companies make a determined effort to target young children, while their parents, ignorant of the dangers, purchase whatever railway books and toys their children request. The addiction is fueled by occasional conventions at which participants are encouraged to spend large sums of money on a recent panel show. A media celebrity announced that many mass murderers had confessed to playing with model railways at some point, thus demonstrating an unambiguous connection between model railways and psychosis.
There's no way this is real.
This can't be. She further stated, let me finish. She further stated that traveling by rail trains was infinitely preferable. It's giving these men access to houses, strange headwear, and unregular model railway kits that's the problem, she said. These activities promote sexism and are as addictive as cocaine. I mean, you're not wrong. I would never, ever participate in any activity which associated model trains with entertainment. It's an outrage. Experts propose that one solution to the serious problem might be to develop online railway. Oh my God, Cam, calm down.
Oh my God,
I'm just looking at.
Maybe
how
this is what happened. They're behind trains.
Experts propose that one solution to the serious problem might be to develop online railway simulation computer games during which addicts could at least interact with others in a more social.
Oh my God, this is exactly what
did
happened.
Did you guys have a Train Life account when that was big?
No,
I did not.
So I guarantee if we go to trains.com and see who
wild.
owns that, it's going to say this person, whoever they are.
That's so crazy.
Wow. You know, in like elementary school, when you read an article and it would you would say the same thing two ways. Like it would depict something as positive and depict it as negative. I feel like that's how this is. Like it makes no sense. Like it everything makes sense, but at the same time, like I didn't say that right at all.
Like they're not wrong, but at the same time, they're
really, really,
wrong.
really right.
Very wrong.
I think somebody. Hey, go down to the comments real quick on that.
Oh, okay. So there haven't been as many as I thought.
There's
Okay.
comments.
No.
So
Yeah, on the
that is normal
I
life.
see the comments.
Wait, no. Roll scroll
Oh,
to the
on
comments on the post.
I thought you were talking about the comments for this.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
No, forget our audience. They're not important.
your
No.
posts
I love you
are
guys.
awesome. Very well written. I am one of your regular readers. They don't have much going on in their life then.
Look at their
Look
profile
at
pic,
all.
you can tell.
Look at
Nice.
these
God.
Keep posting more.
profile pictures too.
Regards.
The
Conclusion:
conclusion,
men
men
are
are
all
like kids. They grow up later than women do. So this they can prove. They like playing with model railways, and not only there are many other there are many others worried to
I
play.
understand.
Listen, ladies. Just because we
They
don't want to
use
watch
Google
days of our
Translate.
lives with you and actually want to do something productive with our time, okay?
Whoa!
Just
when
because we don't
something
want to
needs
get
to be
married
fixed in the
for
house,
you to
guess
take
what?
half of our trains.
Listen,
Mm.
no, you're not taking half my train. You can get a fight anyway. It sounds
Oh,
to
so
me.
the next person agrees with us.
It sounds to me like middle-aged railway syndrome, otherwise known as Mars. I don't get it to be honest. I appreciate a good model railway as much as the next guy, and I've been fascinated with trains since I was a wee one. But here I am, 38 years old, and I've absolutely no desire to go out and build one for myself. But that's just me. To each their own.
His username is R4DS card.
You'll be back. You can't escape.
Weird. One of the guys I work with
probably
play
came back
with these
2 months later.
model trains, but I had no idea it was that addictive. Oh my god!
I think you need to go back to school before you make judgments on people you work with.
There is so much bad grammar in
Look at
these
their
5 comments.
Yeah,
I want to see their blog. Like, if this gets a virus on my computer, I have WebRoot, so it's fine. Oh, so they stopped posting in 2011.
Okay,
So that was like his magnum opus then.
Yeah.
it was. The model railways are cocaine.
This is probably some college student that was just doing some.
Watch out, guys!
Yeah.
This dead page from 10 years ago might send his 62 followers onto us.
Oh yeah.
That's wild.
Then we can have another episode where we just let them come on and voice their opinion.
And then we
they don't get an audience with us.
Their opinion is wrong. Their opinion is just wrong.
We lost like 4 people during that whole thing.
It doesn't surprise me. But I want that part about the middle-aged men and the kids. It's like, oh, that made me angry because that is what's killing the hobby is just the middle-aged men
The
gatekeeping.
stereotype, yeah.
They're just like they're very, very rare. I don't think I've ever encountered one in real life. I've encountered a few online, like at model train shows. Those middle-aged men that are like they say that like it's a pejorative, like that's a bad thing. But like,
listen,
those guys, those are the guys that are like your grandpa that you talk to when you're going to the train show when you're a little kid, and they show you, and they're just as excited as the little kids are to show you all of their trains and all of the cool stuff they've done.
Yeah,
that is the kid. Yes, they advertise to the kids because those middle-aged men aren't going to be around forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those kids literally
soon will be the middle-aged men.
Not only are those kids the future, but in the case of this article, those little kids literally were the future because those little kids would have been us.
Yeah.
Even you, Clint, you would have been in your teens back then, right?
Yeah. So
you would have been like 16. Something
You turned that weird article into an emotional rant.
I was 17.
I
was 17 when I shot that.
Like
I had just
14.
I had actually just started driving the car. I got my license the year before.
I started driver's ed 2 days ago.
I think.
Oh my god, dude! Oh god!
I think that year was my second model train show I ever went to.
I was like
2011.
10 when I watched
that
video.
How long have you guys been watching my channel for? Is that a curiosity?
I watched your videos.
Long
they came up in
time.
my feed, but I never knew it was you until like 2 months ago.
I subscribed to you in April of 2016.
Holy crap!
I watched like 3 videos.
Clint, I'm a
back
lifetime
then.
subscriber.
Adam, you're an OG. Adam's got double, triple platinum membership.
You've changed your name though, haven't you?
I did because it was originally.
On your channel. Your channel link is still your old name.
It shouldn't be. I changed it on
really?
YouTube. Yeah. So my old name was
Train Nut.
My old name used to be Railroad Kid 1937.
That's it.
Oh, that's
Because your
why I
grandfather was
recognize-
born in 1937, right?
Yes, Adam remembers.
Nice.
Yeah, so because my grandfather was born that year, and that was the same year the New York Central Hudson was built, and it was that's my favorite locomotive, quite frankly, right? So, and then I was a kid, and I like railroads, so I just put it all together, and that's kind of how it went.
It worked.
And then
model railroad kid. Yeah.
When I got to be about 17 or 18, I'm like, I'm not gonna be a kid forever, so I need to come with a new name. I'm like, Steam King.
I suggested it to you.
Hey,
Did you suggest that?
Yeah. I said you're the Steam King.
Yeah, actually, he did used to say that. Adam did used to say that. So Adam did help with Adam did kind of help me pursue that name.
Okay,
gotta put a credit on your about page.
Yeah.
Adam, that's the other thing too, bro. Like Adam was the only other person that was my age that was doing train reviews. Like it was me and Adam for the longest time. Like we were like two of the youngest on YouTube for a minute.
I remember those
Adam
days
when he was the Dari Bros.
Yeah.
I remember those
Good old
days.
days.
Those were dark times to be young and a modeler because you never saw anybody our age or like a little bit older than us.
I didn't make a lot of videos because I thought the only videos that were entertaining to people were reviews. And at the time, I was not buying a lot of stuff. I wasn't making videos. So, now I'm buying a lot, but I've also, I've been lucky. I've been smart with this stuff. Trains are interesting. There's a lot of people that want them. It's crazy.
Yeah, trains are interesting. Understatement of the day.
Yeah.
We say in the third hour of our podcast about trains.
That's the motto of this.
Speaking of third hour, so you guys are all on the West Coast, and it's like dinner time for you. But for me, it's 11 at night.
But Drew's saying it's past his bedtime. He needs a nap.
Whoa!
Hey,
Point is, I think we should
right here.
I think we should attempt to answer our original question of crowning the king of Steam. So, like I said earlier in the show, what we could try to do is we could take a vote. People in the chat could take a vote. Just write down the name of the company you think makes the best steam locomotives, and we can tally it up and come to a conclusion.
Well, let's do this though. Between the elite members of the inner
let's
circle
reduce
here,
it to 3.
The panel.
The panel.
Our
the
current-
elite panel.
our current panel of expert model railroad enthusiasts.
I wouldn't say that.
Drew,
Have you
trying to
seen
make it
my
sound
layout,
good.
dude?
Damn it, Sam. Anyway, let's amongst the six of us, who let's go around one at a time, starting with Drew. Who do you think the king of steam is?
I want to say Rapido really bad, but the truth is Broadway Limited. I need to
NC?
write this down somewhere.
And see what do you think?
Broadway or MTH, if only because of quantity and the fact that they do look good.
Hey,
If you had to
you've
pick-
got to
if you had to pick one.
choose
If I
one.
pick
Yeah.
one, Broadway.
Okay.
Cam?
2 votes for Broadway.
How? I think in terms of like consistent sales, I would say Broadway. But I think in quality, like in terms of consistent quality and like the QC that we were talking about earlier, I think Athearn is a good contender.
Okay, Athearn.
I don't think Athearn. Well,
I
I
think it's
Only they
because
produce
that's
more.
that's an
because they're
interesting
simple.
perspective.
It's because they're simple.
I just
Well,
don't think Athearn.
I'm just mean in terms of quality control. I don't think I've ever really heard of a bad Athearn model.
I've
Well,
never
they're
had a bad
kind of-
idea.
They're
have.
not the best.
Yeah, I've heard.
I've always heard that you can get better stuff than Athearn, but I've never heard anybody really like knock Athearn, especially when you're talking about detail and like their steam engines. I haven't really heard much complaints about them running poorly.
I'd never.
Yeah.
My only problem with Athearn is that they don't produce enough steam. Like their selection of
That's
steam is
true.
very limited.
And
It's
their
they don't.
features-
If they produced at the same quantity that MTH and Broadway do, I think they probably would be the kings.
Yeah.
Potentially.
that's true.
If they started
see what
putting smoke
Scaletrains
units and
does.
stuff in.
Well, you have the option to put smoke units in, but it's the soothe smoke units, and
Yeah.
they don't look.
They
right.
don't do anything.
All right. Well, so
But-
we have 2 votes for Broadway, 1 vote for Athearn.
Make it 3 for Broadway.
You gonna
Yeah,
do
my
Okay.
vote's gonna be Broadway.
I'm
Okay.
going. I'm also going Broadway.
Wow,
But
4 votes
also
for
key
Broadway.
import.
This chat's
but-
gonna need to put together some effort to turn this around.
And we just spent like at least an hour
2
and a
hours.
half of this podcast talking about
Crashing
how
Broadway.
just
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
awful Broadway is as a
And it won the award.
And we're just like, yeah, I guess they're the
Oh,
best.
well. Yeah.
They do good. They could be better.
So Sam, what's your vote?
Response to us.
I'm gonna say Broadway until
Okay.
until Scaletrains.
Yeah,
Make
they're
the
definitely
first
going to be
team
the winner.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
When MTH, or I keep calling them MTH, when Scaletrains makes their first steam engine, it's gonna blow everything out of the water.
I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to that day.
Not
You guys
bad.
are setting the bar like a little bit too high.
Scaletrain set the bar too high when they made that damn turbine as their first model. That's
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
Okay,
fair.
so if you're in the chat, you have, I don't know, 2 minutes or 30 seconds. Just type a name of your favorite manufacturer for steam locomotives.
Leave
Yeah.
us, if you're
You got
watching the
10
recording, leave a comment down below. As if you've made it
Yeah.
this far, 3 hours and
Oh,
7
yeah.
minutes in,
Here,
leave a comment down below and tell us what
If
you
you
think.
spent,
made
you have a
this
week
far,
until
you're
we do the
half your
podcast
day
next week, and then
watching this
we'll
thing?
make a deal out of it. I don't think I could watch this back.
I don't think I could either.
Yeah, that's the
I
problem
did
with our
watch-
streams. Every time we go almost 3 hours. This is the first.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time we've broken 3 hours. But it's just like,
Yeah.
I want to watch it
pretty
back to
good.
see how we did, but I also don't have 3 hours to be watching something I was there for.
Lies.
My attention span doesn't last 3 hours.
Clint,
that-
I did
that's
watch
when,
your
like, I'm gonna-
your stream on like Broadway Limited sound. Like we had like a land hurricane come through here, and while that was going on, like I saw you go live, and it's like I ain't missing this. I don't care if a tree's coming out of the ground. I'm watching this thing. So I'm sitting there.
Yes.
I'm sitting there,
Let me
no
guess.
Wi-Fi, just sitting on my phone in the dark because the power's out, and it's been out for 24 hours.
I feel
sitting there
like, man.
I'm sitting there watching your stream in the dark, and I got a lantern above me, and I'm like watching your
Nice.
stream.
That's dedication.
And I was like,
That's
and I was
what-
like,
I hope it's a railroad.
it's like,
lamp.
man, I didn't know you had a T1, and I was like, oh, you had the 210 too, and it's like, yeah.
I look.
That
I
Hurricane
want
probably sounded more like a steam engine than some of Broadway's stuff. Let's be honest.
I want to say that I appreciate like all the wonderful comments you guys give me and like the feedback you give me on like my channel, my content. Like it really makes me like want to keep going and producing more stuff for you. So appreciate all the love, you guys. Just want to say thank you because a lot of nice things have been said tonight, and it's cool.
Saskatchewan.
It's cool that y'all been watching me for as long as you have too. That means a lot. So thank you, really.
Well, thank you.
So we have.
How's it going, Doe?
My mic gain.
Doe from
Yeah, thank
Saskatchewan.
you for having me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 votes for Broadway Limited, and 1 vote for Lionel, and 1 vote for AccuRail.
We're really specifically talking HO scale. If we were talking, I would give it to Lionel hands down.
okay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You don't.
Let's talk up.
You don't
So
occupy the top of the hobby for like what is it, 130 years without doing something right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not touch
So-
Lionel.
I want to have the Lionel
You're too big to
topic.
fail.
I want to have the Lionel topic on my stream, and I think I might want to bring you guys on my channel for my stream for that one.
I would
We'll have
love to
another.
talk about
Epic.
Lionel. I love
love
Lionel.
I'll
Lionel
figure out
is
my
just,
Wi-Fi for that
They're
one.
just such a fun company.
I
We got such an
So-
interesting history.
briefly
have
remember
very little
from a
history,
long
so-
time ago. Did you ever have a Vision Line Big Boy? Like, did you
Me?
have one? Yeah.
No, God, no. Dude. If I could, are you
I don't
serious?
know- I don't know why, but I just like thought you did.
I wish.
Because
Oh
you were
my
talking
God.
about it in like a video, and it's like, yeah, it makes the MTH one look like a toy. And I was
It
like,
does.
wait, so do you have one? Like, you just have one like sitting there for reference?
The
No, I
MTH
just-
one does look like a toy, though.
Compared to the Lionel, it's...
Oh yeah. For
Hey,
sure.
wait, guys, Drew's got to go. Drew's got to.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so
his
we have
bedtime.
successfully
Yeah,
Drew's gotta go night
elected
night.
the Broadway Limited.
Broadway
company.
Limited wins by default.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
We've come to.
By a
thank you everybody for
technicality.
watching.
Congratulations,
I
Broadway.
think we'll be back next week in some way, shape, or form, with or without cameras on. And if anybody else have anything to say,
Thanks for having us, Drew.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for letting me on.
It's been really
okay,
cool.
you guys stick around after the black screen ends. We'll still be here.
No,
Cool.
I'm out of here.
Bye.